Oh boy, do we have a terrible story for you today. This is almost unbelievable to me. In fact, I saw this happen live and I thought it was fake. I was like, there's no way this can be real. There's no way. I'm gonna take you through the timeline. I'm going to go through everything. This might be, I'm not sure how long this will be. We'll see. Hold on, let me just check that. Okay. This is unbelievable. But here's the kind of the spoiler of the big details here. 9-year-old child tested positive for coke at over 10 times the level they were checking for. Tested positive at a level of 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. What does that mean? What does that mean? Apparently, this is the hair dose response that they use. So 500 milligrams would be the cutoff for low use, like recreational use. Medium use would be 2,000 to 10,000. And high use, constant use, which probably is what Nick was on, is 10,000. This is insane. There's a lot of things that are going to go into this, but we're going to go through and just see everything in order of timeline. I think is what we should do. Now, I have redacted this document for the children's names. I could have gone earlier. Like I saw this when it dropped, but I was like, it's impossible. There's no way. There's no way. But basically, this is a breakdown of what happened. So Nick has been, driving around his car, having a couple of local streams, but he's been avoiding YouTube because he had to redecorate his office. And spoiler alert, he just took down a painting and put up a really terrible Joker one, which apparently cost $60,000. But I have a theory about that. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But anyway, he announces his first stream back to YouTube. And then a person who I believe only registered their account very recently, maybe on the same day, on Kiwi Farms, called MN, so Minnesota Public Records, posted this document. And then they basically refused to elaborate and disappeared. Maybe they said one other thing. And at the time, it was like, there's no way. There's no way this could be real. So Null, Josh of the Kiwi Farms, decides to go and try and verify it. And he verifies, he messages like a Minnesota lawyer. He's like, can you check this? Does it look legit? Like, do you think this is real? And the guy comes back to him, but there are some errors in the document. Like, there are some weird, strange things, right? And he's like, there's probably like a 60% chance of this being real. So it's like, okay, that's pretty salacious if it's true, right? But like, probably like a work or something. Like the timing was too convenient because it came out like 2 hours before Nick was going to return to streaming. And then, so Josh did some more digging and apparently it's 90%. And at this point I'm thinking, maybe it was a real document, but elements have been changed because there's a few, there's some of the details in here are so accurate. This person would had to have known key details of the legal system to do it. It would have to be like another lawyer basically trolling Nick. So then Josh comes back and he says like, okay, it's 100%, but just trust me, bro. And I was like, well, it's probably real then, but I still just can't believe it. How could a child be in this situation? But then after being dicked around on the stream for like hours, or it was basically an hour. Nick was boomering his stream, going around. He starts one stream. Nothing happens for 20 minutes. Some people donate some super chats. He ends the stream. It looks like everyone's been grifted. Then he restarts the stream and he confirms that the document is at least real. Maybe the contents of it, I don't know. Like we might go through his stream, but this is what he says. Wait a minute. I muted my audio. I muted my thing. All right.
I'm going to talk for a minute, very briefly, and then I'm going to read the chats and then we'll go. This is not going to be a long stream. It was going to be a much longer stream, but first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce a show and right before the show starts, is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that.
So there you go. He doesn't say it's fake, it's not real, it's a work. He says, I can't believe this sensitive document was released. Now, how sensitive is this document? Apparently, it is illegal to have released this document if you're one of the people involved. So that raises a few questions. Was it someone going out of their way that has a grudge against Nick? Was it a clerical error that somebody screenshotted? We don't know. But as of this moment, it seems it's completely real. We might, if you want to see the entire stream, we might go through it at the end, but we'll go through the document first. But that's basically how the chain of events started happening. And like Nick goes into some insane cope saying it's like, well, you got to be like a government dick sucker if you basically want to believe that. It's insane. I almost have no words for this. It's really hard to like process this all. I was thinking to myself, there's got to be some other explanation. Like maybe the hair samples were mixed up, or I don't know. Or maybe it was just like residue on their hair. But apparently these tests, they test for internal changes in the hair follicles that happen within 3 months. So it could be up to 90 days ago that this exposure occurred. It's absolutely insane. But let's go through it together, and we can see what we think. You can judge for yourself. I'm not going to try and make you think for yourself. That's your job, not my job. Also, but Xkuma sent a 50 in. Thank you very much. He says, "Come on now, who didn't taste their dad's Coke just for the kicks as a child?" Well, I guess even Ethan Van Skyver was proved right. Maybe it was just the kids brought this all in, right? But thank you for the super chat. Also, be sure to like the stream. It does help us get the word out there. If you get over 100 likes on a live stream, YouTube bumps it up in the algorithm a bit. And there's another one at about 400. So let's see what we can do. All right, I'm going to go through this. And as I said, I've redacted it. And we'll just see what we think. Okay, so this is a document from the state of Minnesota. And it is in the matter of welfare of the children of Nick and Kayla Rekieta, the parents. And let's see. The above entitled matter came before the undersigned judge of the district court on June 6th in the county courthouse in Wilmar, Minnesota. Oh, further like insane detail in this case is apparently that the police chief that's presiding over this is Jim Felt, which just makes no sense whatsoever. But life can't be that coincidental. It's like it's got to be a simulation or something, right? But let's see. So present at the hearing were the following people. You have the county attorneys, Alicia Sweep, who Nick goes on in his stream to accuse this person who is a child protective service worker of perjury. He said she's got this thing out for him. It's all just like a big vendetta or something. It's insane. If like there's only two options here. That the government actually has this massive conspiracy against this man who just does live streams. Like, why would they care? Why would they care? Because you say edgy things on the internet, nobody gives a shit. Or he gave coke. Well, maybe not gave. I assume it would be an accidental ingestion or something, because I can't see anyone giving to a child in their right mind. Now, we have got eyewitness reports from Aaron, who was in their polycule thruple, whatever, saying that Nick was careless enough to leave a bullet of coke lying around a 3-year-old when he went to his house. So it's not like this crazy thing that it would happen by accident. It could totally see that. But anyway, let's see. So Alicia Sweep is the County Health and Human Services, KCHHS. That comes up a lot in the document. So if you're wondering what that is, that's that. Then you have Dawn Weber, attorney at law for and with Nick, and John Mueller, attorney at law for Kayla. And then you have 3 people that were the attorney at law for the children, which I've redacted, and the guardian ad litem, which is kind of cute little acronym, GAL. I thought that was kind of interesting. The foster parents also appeared. Now, this was the first thing that when I was reading this, because I read it as soon as it came out, and it was like foster parents. I thought this was their grandparents that were with their family or something, but apparently this is interchangeable depending on the county. All parties are present and appeared in person at the beginning of the joint emergency protective care hearing and admit/deny. Hearing, the court met the requirements for the hearing procedure outlined in Minnesota. Reverend Justice, I believe that is. Let's see. So this document is a little bit hard to read in places because it looks like it was screenshotted and then scanned. Now, as I said, this was probably illegal for the person to leak the document. Maybe a rogue clerk, or maybe it was Miss Sweep trying to sweep up. Well, I guess she's the anti-sweeper, right? But yeah, you can see there was some deep, like if you look at the document, there's these like smudges, and some people are saying that maybe it looks like it's got some water damage as well. It was raining today as well in Minnesota, but we already know this is a real document. It's just, is the contents actually accurate? Let's see. Based on the petition and attachments herein and on the testimony and exhibits, the court makes the following. Finding of fact, subject matter, the children subjects of the petition are, and then you have the 5 children listed, which I have redacted. Venue is the county, because the children reside in the county. Parentage is Nick and Kayla, so I guess there's confirmed his children, which I guess is, we need to confirm that at this point. Then you have a petition from CHIPS. Now, CHIPS is the Child in Need of Protection or Services. So it's basically CPS. I just say CPS because I think people can understand that better. It was filed on May 24th. The alleged statutory grounds listed on the CHIPS petition are incorporated herein by reference. Prima facie finding of child protective matter. The court previously found that the petition established a prima facie showing that a juvenile protection matter exists and the children are the subject of that matter. The court previously found the petition establishes a prima facie showing of the children's health, safety, or welfare would be immediately endangered if the children were released to the care of the parents. There was also one of the children's name was like misspelt, but there is a note in the document saying why it was misspelled. Oh, it was just that it was misspelled, which was, again, kind of a weird detail to have, but I guess it was just like the clerk worker was maybe working fast or something. We'll see. Let's see. 7. Service. I believe it says service. It's a little bit hard to read here. Service, Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta were each personally served with the summons and petition on May 28th. Mentions to intervene. No motion to intervene were made. The protections of the Indian welfare child does not apply. Well, they're not Indian, so that makes sense. McKenna's Law. The court provided McKenna's Law advisory to redacted children. Representation. The parents were previously advised to the right to be represented by counsel on the record as required by Rule 36. The parents were each represented by an attorney at this hearing. Ex parte hold and order for hearing. The children were placed on a law enforcement hold. The date of removal is May 23rd, 2024. The facts that warranted removal of the children from the caregiver on an ex parte emergency basis are following. On May 23rd, law enforcement officers from the county sheriff's office executed a search warrant at the family residence. During the search, narcotics and drug paraphernalia were located. The parents were placed under arrest and law enforcement officers placed the children on a law enforcement hold. Continued emergency protective order hearing. An emergency protective care hearing was scheduled to be held on March 28th. 2024. At that time, the parents, or is it May? Was it May? It was May, right? I believe it's May. It just says Ma. I guess that's short for May. At the time, the parents motioned to continue the hearing for a good cause. The court found a good cause to continue the emergency protective hearing to protect the rights of the parties. All right. Testimony. The court received testimony from Alicia Sweep, Christy Barber, and Robert Rekieta. All witnesses were placed under oath prior to providing testimony. Exhibits. The court received the following exhibits. Exhibit 1, drug testing of the parents, and Exhibit 2, drug testing of the children. Protective care determination. All parties and participants were offered the opportunity to cross-examine petitioner regarding the ex parte filings after receiving additional facts. The court determined that protective care shall continue. The court marks the following explicit and individual findings in support of continued placement. So the KCHHS, so that's Alicia Sweep's organization, the County Health and Human Services. I'll just call them county services from now on, I think. Received a report including Mrs. and Mrs. Rekieta on May 23rd, 2024. The report was that law enforcement was going to the home of Mr. Rekieta and Mrs. Rekieta to execute the search warrant. That's when well, we've already talked about that in a previous stream. Upon executing the search warrant, law enforcement officers found over 26 grams of cocaine. I believe this was 28, but there was maybe minus the packaging. It may have been updated after the arrest. Ketamine, drug paraphernalia, firearms, and ammunition in the house. Now, of course, being under the influence of drugs and having firearms is apparently legal in America. I don't think it makes a lot of sense because it's legal to be drunk and have guns in America, but apparently being under the influence of drugs is different. You can argue not sovereign citizen, but you can argue all the liberties or whatever freedoms that you want. I think it doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of people say, well, of course it makes sense. I think it doesn't make sense, but it is the law, and that is important. Mrs. Sweep went to the family home while search was ongoing. At that time, she learned that the home was very cluttered. It was difficult to walk on the home without stepping on clothing, bedding, and blankets. Now, this is very important detail because it is additional information we've heard about the state of the house. Like when we heard the house was in a state of disrepair or a state of cluttered, dirty, does it mean a couple of laundry items on the thing? We don't know until we see the body cam. There is no update on the body cam at the moment. but it's been about the 10 days, the 10 business days since this whole thing started, and the money was raised. So it should be released eventually, but we just don't know when. Maybe another 10 days, but there is no hard fact on that. They have to go through, and I think there was like 9 officers, and they each were recording for about 2 hours. So we've got about 18 hours to go through and blur. That takes a long time for if there's like one guy doing it. So that's why about $6,000 was raised for that, I believe. But anyway, the children were present at the home. Well, those 4 children were present at the home, but one was not, and that was the one that was in the car with Nick when he was arrested on the highway outside of his house. All right, page 5. Page 5. After being placed out of the home, the children were subject to hair follicle drug testing. All of the children, except for redacted, tested negative. The redacted, which is a 9-year-old, I think it was like her birthday pretty recently. It's like the 9-year-old daughter, tested positive for cocaine at a level of over 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta each submitted to a hair follicle drug test through Minnesota Monitoring Inc., MMI, on May 30th. However, County Health Services has not received the results of those tests because subsequent to taking those tests, Mr. and Mrs. Rekieta revoked their release of information, ROI, from the Minnesota Monitoring Inc. to County Health Services. Because the ROIs have been revoked, County Health Services has been unable to monitor the parents through additional drug testing. Now, since the bail was posted for both Nick and Kayla, it was done through a bond company. So they paid about 10% of the bond. We would have been $50,000 each. So they paid $5,000 each, $10,000. It's an unconditional release. Well, at least it says it is. They probably have some conditions, but it's probably between them. It's like a private contract, essentially. Like maybe they have to like mention if they're going to leave the county. But basically, they're just released free and good to go. They could be drinking if they wanted to, but Nick has been saying that they are completely sober, clean and sober crew. At least that's what he's been claiming on the internet. We don't know. He's been having a bit of freakouts in some group chats that might suggest manic behavior, but there's no evidence to say that he's done anything since then. Let me see. Where were we? Mrs. Sweet went to the home on May 28th. She was allowed into the home, but she was not allowed into the parents' bedroom. Now, this, I believe, is where the safe was found, which had the majority of the drug stuff. Now, I find it hard to believe that all the drugs were just in one place in the house, because when you want to get high, you can't go all the way upstairs during a live stream. It's got to be close. It's got to be in the vaults. It's got to be really close to this, just so you can, get up, play the whiskey drinking lawyer song, and do a quick bump before you get back to your stream. So I would assume that's where the child was exposed, if it is indeed true. The GAL is in agreement that it is in the best interest of the child, which is the guardian ad litem, I should say, is in the best interest of the child is to remain out of home placement at this time. So, I mean, of course they're going to say that. But they are saying it's not safe to send the kids back to the parents because they are irresponsible at this time. Surroundings or conditions. The children are in surroundings or conditions that endanger the children's health, safety, or welfare, requiring responsibility for the children's care and custody to be immediately assumed by County Health Services. 18. Contrary to the welfare and best interests, children out of home. It is in the best interest of the children for care, custody, and control of the children to remain with County Health Services for the purposes of placement with a suitable foster care provider. Continued custody of the children by the parents is contrary to the welfare of the children. The placement proposed by County Health Services is in the children's best interest, and making this finding, the court relies upon the best interest factors considered by County Health Services and set forth in the CHIPS petition, which are incorporated herein by reference. It is in the best interests of the children to remain in foster care until the parents are able to provide a safe environment, demonstrated through substantial compliance with the case plan and by correcting the conditions which have led to the out-of-home placement. The placement proposed by the agency is the least restrictive and most home-like setting that meets the needs of the children. Now, I believe that after this came out, the children did go straight to the family, like the grandparents. I believe Aaron Imholt said that, but I guess it's not confirmed. It makes sense, though. Children would typically go to their nearest relatives. At least that's what I believe happened, how it works where I'm from. Reasonable efforts. Given the particular circumstances of the children and the family at the time of the children's removal, there were no services or efforts available that could have allowed the children to remain safely in the home. So I guess 16-year-old can't just look after the other 4 kids, as EVS suggested. The lazy kids bringing their drugs into that house and not cleaning up after 4 addicts. Those wet blanket, lazy bone children. Why won't they be more responsible in the home? Honestly, I can't believe the things he has said. I have to assume he's just being annoying on purpose because he realizes that, or he decided that any attention is good attention. But it's outrageous to try and suggest that a 16-year-old or any of the other children should have to clean up their parents' house when you have 4 addicts in the house, all sharing one big bed, which I guess Miss Schweep wasn't allowed to see. Let's see. County Health Services is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with their parents and to prevent the need of further out-of-home placement. However, those efforts have been hampered by the parents because the parents have revoked ROIs and have not been submitting to drug testing and have not allowed County Health Services access to the home. So what they're saying here is that because they've revoked the ROI, they can't prove that they were never on cocaine or any other drug. Of course, they would do that for their best interest in their legal case. You don't want to give them more information than they need. And they don't want to show the house because then if they've got shit in there that's like not good for kids, like Baldos or just like tens of thousands of whiskey bottles. Well, it wouldn't be tens of thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars of whiskey bottles just smashed on the floor. Or I don't know. Apparently, it's pretty rank in that house. I've seen it from pictures. But basically, they're saying that since the parents haven't shown us the house, and since they haven't shown us that they're clean and not going to submit to drug testing, we cannot conclude that they're safe to go back with their parents. That's what they're saying there. Removal date and permanency deadlines. The children removed from the home on May 23rd, which is 14 days in out-of-home placement. The permanency process review hearing must be held no later than 180 days after removal, which is November 19th, 2024. If applicable, the permanency petition must be filed no later than 335 days after removal, which is April 23rd, 2025. If applicable, an admit/deny hearing to determine the permanent status of the children shall be held on May 23rd, 2025. This should be resolved well before then. I believe their court date is set for August, but you never know. You never know how long court cases can go. Sometimes they take a very, very long time. Admit/deny. An admit/deny hearing was held on June 6th. The parents were each represented by an attorney. That's good. They're not representing themselves, as some people suggested. The parents were advised of the right to have a trial regarding the CHIPS petition, including the right to testify or question and call witnesses. Page 7. Call witnesses at the trial and require petitioner to prove this is a bit hard to see here because of the scanning. Require petitioner to prove a CHIPS petition by something. I'm not sure what that is. Not sure what this word is. Oh, by clear and convincing evidence. That makes sense. I thought there was a D at first. After consulting with the council, the parents of each entered a denial. So they're saying, no, we are good parents, I believe there. Protective order. The parties have agreed to a protective order for discovery. The parents have agreed to waive their timing requirement at the pretrial hearing to be held at least 10 days prior to the start of the trial pursuant to Minnesota R. Juve Protection P 48.01. Conclusions of law. Best interests. It is in the best interests of the children that they shall remain in the protective care of County Health Services for the purpose of placement with an appropriate licensed foster care provider. I hope that's really not the case. I hope they are with their grandparents, because I know there's a lot of good foster care parents out there, but it's not a good place to be. It would almost be better to be with the family, provided I don't think the grandparents are shooting up as well. So it's not a great situation. I know, but I know there are some good foster care parents, but typically it's not a good place for kids to be under any circumstances. Reasonable efforts. County Health Services is providing reasonable efforts to reunify the children with their parents and to prevent the need for further out-of-home placement. However, those efforts have been hampered by the parents because the parents have revoked ROIs, have not been submitting to drug testing and have not allowed county health services access to the home. Now, they don't have to submit these drug testings because of the conditions of their lease with the bail. But what the county health services is saying that is if they did, it would help. Now, it's probably legally in their best interest to not give them that stuff. But if they're not doing anything, I don't see the harm in it. And of course, the Indian Welfare Act doesn't apply. Order. The children shall remain in protective care of county health services for the purpose of placement with appropriately licensed foster care provider. Services and examinations or evaluations, the following shall be provided to the children and the children's family pursuant to Rule 42.09. The parents shall submit to a chemical use assessment and shall follow all recommendations. The parents shall abstain from the use and possession of all mood-altering substances except as prescribed by a medical professional. That was one of the thoughts actually I had. Just speaking of other mood-altering substances, one of the copes I was going through with my own mind when I was reading these documents is like, is there any way that like ADHD medication could come up as a false positive or something? Apparently that's not the case. But like in my mind, it's just, I guess it's not that like beyond the pale to think that a person that has what Camelot described as a $20,000 a month drug habit for kids to accidentally maybe find like daddy's bump that he set up and like, oh, look, I want to copy daddy. And then they do, oh no, what happened? How could you do that? Like it's like a little oopsie, right? A little oopsie daisy, except it's a kid's life you're messing with here. I assume that's probably what happened. It was just an accidental exposure. But we don't know. I mean, what is the other alternative? Like, I don't believe for a second. Like, I know a lot of people are very critical of Nick at the moment, rightly so. But I can't believe that he would give it to his children by his own volition. I think we should at least give him that much credit. But what could the other alternatives of this case be? The county is lying, according to Nick, or the hair samples are messed up. That's the only thing that makes sense in my mind, is that surely Kayla or April's hair sample got mixed up and that was with one of the children's, or like, that's the only thing that can make sense to me. Because I don't want to believe the alternative, that a child is testing positive for levels above at recreational use levels. Like, again, I showed it at the beginning of the stream, but actually, where is it? Did I close it? Oh, no, sorry. That's something else. Sorry, is this one, right? This is the levels that we're talking about. So they only check for 500 milligrams in the hair samples. So low use, recreational, so like maybe once a week, or it'd be less than once a week actually, because it says weekends as medium use. So 500 to 25 parts is what they were looking for. But the child tested for 5,000, which is in the medium daily/weekend use. Now, again, this is a test that can find particles that have been in the hair for up to 90 days prior. So it could have been like one big exposure or exposure over a week. I'm not sure the actual particular. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert at this or anything, but that's a lot. Like, the parents would absolutely test like in these ranges, but there's no way a child could be using them the same as a parent. It just doesn't make sense. It's beyond belief. Anyway, I'll continue the document and then we'll go into more conjecture, I suppose. Let's see. So where was I? The parents shall submit to chemical testing of any type at the request of the county health services or the guardian ad litem to verify abstinence. The parents shall sign all necessary release information to the services provided that share information with the county health services and the guardian ad litem. The parents shall sign releases of information to the Minnesota, which one was that? MMI? That was the drug testing company, I believe, the MMI. Parents shall sign releases to the information from MMI and county health services and the guardian ad litem, so that the county health services and guardian ad litem may monitor and verify the parents' drug testing. So basically, they want to be cut in on the information to prove that they're not doing anything. And I assume this would be any mood-altering substance, so it's literally anything. Gummies, alcohol, or drugs is what they're looking for in this case. Let's see. OHPP. I'm not sure what that is, but County Health Services shall file an out-of-home placement plan to provide it to the parties foster care within 30 days of the court order placing the children in foster care, an order for protective care, or order transforming legal services to County Health Services, whichever is earliest. The out-of-home placement plan shall be filed no later than June 22nd. Family time. The terms of parental and sibling visitation pending further proceedings are: visitation between the parents and the children shall be supervised at a supervised safety center or supervised at the County Health Services building or by a member of the County Health Services staff. Relative search. County Health Services shall exercise due diligence in identify and notify adult relatives of the family within 30 days of the removal pursuant to Minnesota Statute 260C. The agency shall continue to appropriately involve relatives who have responded to the notice. The parents shall cooperate in providing sufficient information to identify relatives. No later than 90 days after the placement, the agency shall report to the court. So again, the top is a bit hard to read. The court efforts and decisions regarding placements. Not sure what that says. Like, it's can't really be read there. Something, but I believe it's I believe it is placement according to Minnesota Statute 260. Yeah, that makes sense. The order shall be shared. Yeah, the order should be shared with providers of service under the care plan, and such providers are authorized to share information with each other as necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of the case plan's order herein. County Health Services is authorized as follows with respect to the children: to arrange for any medical surgery or care that the children need in a life-threatening situation, to arrange appropriate routine medical or dental care for the children, including necessary immunizations and vaccinations for the children, to obtain the children's educational, medical, dental, psychological, psychiatric, and dental records, including mental health and chemical dependency records, if any, for the purpose of meeting the children's health needs, and to approve educational or mental health services to the children as needed. What this means is not that they're going to do this, not that they're going to make them go through surgery or dental. It's just like they can do these things without the parents' permission, basically, is what they're saying there. So that's kind of crazy. So like if the kid has to have their appendix removed, you'd have to like talk to the parents or something. But the government can just do that now because they have the current authority to do so. Let's see. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 260C, County Health Services is specifically authorized to have access to the following data on the children: medical records, corrections and detention data, juvenile court data, court services, health records. So basically, they get everything. Their government is your daddy now until you get clean, basically. Providers of services to the children, including education, medical, and mental health services, are authorized to release information regarding the children to County Health Services. This order shall be shared with providers of service order and again, pretty hard to read this part. Wonder if anyone's done like a, when you like fill in the blank things for this, like not ad libs, but like with just forensic analysis, basically. Share with the providers under the care plan, I believe, and health providers are authorized to share information with each other. Yeah, that makes sense. As necessary to carry out the intent and purpose of the care plan ordered herein. Pursuant to Rule 6 of the Rules of Juvenile Protection Procedure, this order establishes the following deadline for specific dates in the proceedings on this matter. Discovery, Rule 17. The deadline for discovery is July 15th, 2024. That's next month. This includes the following: inspection and copying of documents and other intangible evidence. Identify the names and addresses of all persons intended to be called as witnesses at trial, and shall allow all other parties to inspect and copy such witnesses' written records or recorded statements within the parties' knowledge relating to the case. Identify the names and addresses of all persons intended to be called as expert witnesses to the trial, and subject matter to which each expert is expected to testify, and a summary of the grounds for each opinion to be offered. The following additional pretrial preparation and discovery is authorized, and the reports from such discovery shall be completed and disclosed to the other parties: physical examination, psychological examinations, and depositions. All proposed exhibits must be uploaded to the Minnesota, right? Digital exhibit system no later than July 15th. Information on how to use the system can be found on the court website, court website. Pretrial motions. All pretrial motions shall be served and filed by July 15th. Hopefully no late last minute things will be uploaded. I know that is part of their business strategy, or it is part of their court strategy, but it's not a good thing to do. Let's see. Pre-trial conference rule 48. A pre-trial conference shall be held on July 15th at 3 p.m. The parties and their legal counsel shall come to the pre-trial conference prepared to determine whether settlement for any issues is occurred is possible, or to discuss the issues set forth in the Juvenile Protection Act. Now, just a note here. If anyone's excited about this date, July 16th or July 15th, it's very unlikely you will see any of this information. Now, while discovery might be revealed for a criminal case in America, this is a juvenile case, and it seems like it'll probably be a sealed case. So you will not be able to find these documents online, although this one is leaked already. So I guess who knows what'll leak next. It seems like someone definitely has a axe to grind against Rekieta. Whether it's a government conspiracy that he's claiming, that's a different question entirely, though. But I would not be surprised if all of this information is sealed, considering the age of the kids range from, I believe, 6 to 16. He does have 5 children after all. That's a long time to be pregnant. That's like almost a solid decade of being pregnant. Let me see. And the last page, let's see. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's see. The trial shall be continued. The trial shall not be continued or adjourned for more than 1 week unless the court finds that the not sure what it says here. Something to develop the best. Unless the court finds that the continuance or adjustment, I'm not sure, is in the best interest of the children. The trial shall continue until completed. The trial shall be conducted pursuant to the procedure set forth in Rule 49. Court Settlement Conference. The parties shall participate in a court settlement conference and other forms of alternative dispute resolution. Hearing location. All hearings should take place in the Kandiyohi County Courthouse, Wilmar, Minnesota. The order is subject to the revision as necessary to serve the best interest of the children and the interest of justice, so long as the permanency timelines are not delayed. All previous courts and orders are to remain in effect, explicit and explicitly amended herein by the court, and it was signed by Keith Helgelson. Or Helgelson. There you have it. That is the document that has been leaked today. Now, I will point out, so this is what seems to be the water damage. Like, the entire story is just insane. People were looking at these documents, where the cursor was and where the they were just they were doing everything. It was like actual CSI hours going on before next stream. So the running theory is that someone printed screen on this, and then they printed it out, and then they scanned it to make sure there was no way to they could be on the scan themselves as well. Absolutely. But someone basically smuggled this document out. And prior to it being confirmed on next stream, why does it? I mean, that's what we're talking right now, Hella, is that this would had to have been smuggled out or hidden in such a way that you could not trace it back to whoever released it, because it would be illegal to release such a document if you are one of the people involved in this case. That's why it's either someone that really just wants to have this see the light of day, or someone that actually has some sort of vendetta, or just wants the truth to be known, right? We don't know. The person that uploaded this document was, they were on Kiwi Farms, basically. I think they were just called Minnesota Public Records was their account. Yeah, it's MN Public Records. And I would not believe it if Nick had not come out and said that it's a leaked document and he's going to pursue action against it, because how dare they share such sensitive information? One of the conspiracy theories that I read about this document is that Nick released it himself with wrong information in it, so that when he could prove that the information was wrong, he could say that he could use it as evidence to show that he's being treated unfairly, or that the jury is trying to be tainted or something, as part of this massive government conspiracy that was I guess first suggested by, what was it, Barnes? What is it? Better Call Barnes? I don't know. It's insane. The whole thing is insane. Should we check out Nick's stream about this? Because I think that's really interesting to see what it's like. Let me know. If we should do a watch, an EFAP, I guess, of Nick's first stream back. I think it's only 20 minutes, and then there's all the super chat reading from it. It's like an hour or something. It was an absolute shit show the entire day. Let me know with the one in the chat. Also, if you just joined us, be sure to like the stream. If a stream gets over 400 likes, it gets a bit of a bump in the YouTube algorithm. So that does help out. So if half the people like this stream, it'll help get a bit of the thing going out there. I'll put a poll, I'll put a new poll up now that we've read through the entire document, and I'll just keep it highlighted on this important part here, because this is the most salacious part, really, that the child was found with 10 times the levels of what they were searching for. Do you believe this is a true and honest statement by the government? We know that this document does exist in the court systems because Nick has seen it before, because he said that somebody leaked this sensitive document. But the question is, has the government, well, I mean, I don't believe that the government has falsified this data, but that's the prevailing argument by the people that are on, the people that are inside the Baldo bunker, I guess they're calling it now. Let me see. We'll start a quick poll up while I take a bit of a drink, because my voice is a bit hoarse today. Let's see. How should I word this? All right. Who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? Nick, Guberment, no one, and results. There we go. Liked. There we go. Like, I think my problem with this, oh, hello there, Eclipse, how's it going? I think my problem with all of this is that why should I take Nick at his word at this point? Like, I think I saw enough people that said they wanted to look. We're gonna EFAP next stream in a second, and go through and see what he says. My problem with his defense so far is that he says, well, I can't say anything, but you'd be stupid to believe the government. Now, the government does tell lies, but he hasn't said that this is not true. Like, when someone is set up for murder, maybe they can't talk about their case, but they can say, you know what they can say is, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. How does that affect your court case if you are telling the truth? So I don't see how, if he just comes out and says, look, I didn't give my kids never had access to any drugs. How does that hurt his case? I don't know. It probably is in his best interest to say nothing, because every time he opens his mouth, it makes it worse. I mean, it's his job, though. It's crazy. And you know what's really infuriating, actually, is that all of the lieutenants in the Baldo bunker, this is his first stream back on YouTube. How much do you think he made from the stream? And keep in mind, like, so this has been an interesting question. How much do you think he made on his first stream back? Now, Nick used to make thousands of dollars per stream. Recently, like the last 6 months, he'd been making not that much, like a couple hundred, maybe like 200 to 500 per stream. Still pretty good, better than working a real job, right? Still pretty, I mean, you get to stay home and just sit on your chair, sit on your fat ass and do nothing. But how much do you think he made today? According to Playboard, at least. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Oh, that's another part of that's another detail I didn't even mention. Is that when his stream is being set up, obviously a lot of people are putting through A-log super chats, like saying like, hey, what are you going to talk about? Like, Mods or Nick himself was deleting super chats. You could see it happen live. It was just like bloop, bloop, bloop. Dozens of super chats were deleted and never addressed by Rekieta. Well, actually, maybe he addressed them. I don't know if he addressed them, because I didn't watch the entire segment of that. But I definitely saw them being deleted by either moderators or himself. So the answer of how much he made, how much you make when you feed your kids drugs, apparently, is... So he did 2 streams today. The first one that he boomed, he got $45. He made $1,500. $1,500 today. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that when you're at work. Like, what is it like Wednesday? It's like Wednesday evening for me. If most people are working until Friday, right? Think about that. You're working until Friday. Maybe the boss is going to tell you to stay in late on Friday. And then you probably make like a third of this. And what has Rekieta done? He's driven around his fast little car, gone vroom vroom, not spent any time with his kids, fed them drugs, allegedly, right? And he's made $1,500 for being a piece of shit. Just think about that. There's a lot of groceries with that money. Well, it's not even half of his snack bill. He spends $3,000. Well, at least he did spend $3,000 a month on snacks, apparently, which is like $20 per kid per day, which is just insane. His days are numbered. I mean, I don't know. The people are pretty hard in the paint. Like, all he has to say to his audience is like, the government's holding me down. The government's a big meanie, and like, you don't want to be a government dick sucker or bootlicker, right? And then everyone is just like, oh yes, of course, you're a good boy. You did nothing wrong. Look, you can hate the government and think that Nick is a bad person at the same time. These are not mutually exclusive positions. Nick can be a piece of shit, and the government can also be a piece of shit. The thing is, and don't get me wrong, everyone deserves their day in court. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But we have no reason to take him at his word, because we saw him doing the drugs. We have an eyewitness that claimed that he was being reckless with leaving drugs around children prior to any of this information being released. You know, how much you want to put faith in Aaron, that's up to you. But there have been multiple people that have suggested that this is true. So why should I trust Nick? Because you like him? Why? Why is that a good reason to trust someone? Excumus sent in a 20 actually. Here's $2. A bit under the $1 after YouTube is done. Thank you very much. That's enough to pay for. It's almost enough to pay for a drink in Japan, actually. All right, let's go through the first stream back. I'm not sure we're going to watch the whole thing, but we're going to go through at least the first segment before it gets to the super chats. We'll see. We might check out the chat replay if it's available as well. He was muted for the first minute.
Is Rumble working?
There we go. Okay. First, I'm going to... Actually, you know what? First, I want to compare his new office. This is like... What is he being like? Just Rod's clips? No. I'm going to do it my way. Okay, so he had to stop... Oh, well, hold on a second. Let me just get past this ad. Let me just get past that ad first. I do have YouTube Premium, but it's just not working on this account. Okay, so this is the old office, okay? So he couldn't stream for what, 1 week, 2 weeks, because he had to redecorate the office. And let's take a look at the new stream segment. So he did nothing. He just took down the painting. He took down the bottle painting, the bottle paintings, right? He took that down. And then just put up this Johnny Depp painting that's been sitting on his floor for like the last, I don't know, year. And this $60,000 Joker painting, I believe. Like, it's insane. He's already sitting down. Yeah. You know, I have a theory. I'll talk about my theory maybe later towards the end of the stream. All right, let's get into this. Watch it at 1.25 speed. All right.
There it is. Yay. That's nice. All right. Okay. Here we go.
I think he gets into this pretty quick, though. There's not very much preamble in this one.
Hi, chat. So I thought it'd be great to use Rumble Studio. Rumble Studio was not working at all. It's supposed to be this great thing, lets you stream to both Rumble and YouTube, because Rumble's kind of a pain in the dick to stream to anyway, since they don't have integration, although I think they have API now with StreamYard or whatever. So I somehow have to...
I don't quite believe... I'm going to say that I don't quite believe this. I think that he set up his stream, and maybe the Rumble Studio is a piece of shit. I don't know. But I guarantee you that the first 15 minutes was him just like seething at the release of this document. Like, I was sure he was just going to cancel the entire stream at all, in its entirety. But I guarantee you he spent a solid 15, 20 minutes seething, and then it's just like, well, I'll just blame it on Rumble being a piece of shit. Good move, by the way, if you want to get recontracted to Rumble. I'm sure they'd be very, very happy to re-sign you when you're making fun of them constantly. And also, I guess, playing Willy Wonka, the Candyman, with the kids. Like, what the fuck?
Get this fucking message out to the people that this stream's up on Rumble. This isn't going to be a very long stream. I've already streamed for like 30 minutes tonight.
Why would he stream? He's already made all the super chats. He's already got all the money. Why would he stream?
See, hold on.
Why would you do your job? You've already got all the money.
Rumble
Checkmate.
stream is up.
Checkmate, atheists.
Thanks,
I have
Rumble
it all.
Studio.
I have all the money.
I had to switch to fucking StreamYard because for whatever reason, Rumble Studio just doesn't have a button to start to like put you in the fucking shot, even though it shows you're in there. I'm sure it was my fault. Legitimately, sure it was my fault, but it was frustrating. Here we go. Well, I'm just sending out this tweet.
I'm very, very professional. I mean, I did this
Just going to send out this tweet for a second.
But I remember I was waiting. It was like, it was a solid 40 minutes before anything happened. Which is really, I think he's late on purpose, honestly. I think he's always at least 5 minutes late on purpose because it's like, oh, it's like the rock star sort of keep them waiting sort of attitude, you know, like it's like if I show up on time, that's like a nerdy thing. You got to be fashion late, you got to be cool, like, you know, like I just show up whenever I like sort of thing. I guarantee you he does that. But this was a solid 40 minutes. And 20 of it was just like a stream running. Like you can actually probably still see that. I wonder if it's still on his channel. Yeah, it was. It was a 20. He still has 16,000 views. It's like 20 minutes of nothing. 20 minutes of nothing. And then he just like someone donated like 50 subs and then the stream just ended and it was like it was just like, well, grifted. Get fucking grifted. But if you've been waiting, like if you're a local supporter and you were like waiting all 2 weeks for this new studio update, this is what he's done. He's put the barrel back there, which I'm pretty sure the barrel was there before actually. You just can't see it. It's off to the side. He put up his Joker painting. And
then we'll do this. And don't worry, I have all your super chats and all that shit. We'll get all that going too.
Is this really 1.25? It feels slow.
Now, as I'm sure many of you know, I'm sure many of you know, after I announced I'd be streaming tonight, some sensitive documents were released about my family. And
notice what he says here. These sensitive documents about my family was released. Not fake documents with fake information was released. No, it's just documents that are sensitive because it shows him as being a piece of shit. Yeah, those are pretty sensitive.
Everybody wants me to address. Are you fucking kidding me? Copy. I'm retarded?
Yes, but all right, while nothing's happened, I'll explain my painting theory. So if you watch like last time we did a stream, we watched the Turkey Tom video, and it showed that Nick's basically spent several years going through law school without a job, at least according to his LinkedIn, as a father of 5 kids and 2 houses that he paid off both mortgages for. And keep in mind that his grandparents had hundreds of millions of dollars from oil money, right? So the question is like, does Nick have a trust fund? And Nick has said many times he does not have a trust fund, even though it makes no sense unless his grandparents just hate him or something. So I've been wondering about this. And I wonder if maybe the trust fund is only for like emergency situations or life improvement. So for example, if you're out of work, you can take some money from it. Or like if you're putting yourself through law school or night school or whatever, you can live off that until you get your own, up on your legs. Because many rich parents will say that their kids can't live off their money just free, because then it turns people into shitty people, basically, if you don't have to work for anything. So maybe it was only for like emergency or life costs. So then he would be technically telling the truth, where it's like, I don't have a trust fund because it's only for these sort of situations. And he does speak in this sort of double lawyer speak, because obviously he's a lawyer and he just does it all the time. He's like, pay close attention. No, you never have to pay close attention. He just always talks about this stuff. Like he's like, never answers anything in a straightforward sense, right? So I assume the house and all the living expenses and everything were paid for with the trust fund at this time, but it's only for those sort of living expenses. But I wonder if there is an additional fund or clause in this trust fund that says that there's a certain allowance for charitable donations like every year, because Nick's grandparents gave millions of dollars to a hospital wing. They were very charitable people. So maybe they set aside like saying like, hey, every year you can choose to distribute $100,000 to a charity or fundraising or something, yada, 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 right? If that's the case, then all of these charity painting gallery things that Nick's going to, maybe he's spending other people's money to do it. Like maybe he's literally spending his grandparents' money on these paintings. Because that's the only way it makes sense, that he would spend $60,000 on this like Joker painting. I mean, and I have no evidence to back this up. This is just like theory craft on my part. I'm like, that makes sense. Like if he's like saying like, well, I'm going because he, like I said, he was working like he put himself through law school. Well, maybe he didn't put himself through, but he went through law school. It was like, how many years does that take? You know, several years at least, with no income, 5 kids to feed. And then he just happens to be going to these charity art gallery auctions every year. Where does his money come from? Unless he's spending someone else's money. That's the only way that explains, well, not the only way, but that's the most reasonable way that explains these god-awful paintings that he's buying with other people's money. And again, this is just like headcanon on my part. I've got no evidence to back up. This is what I think, which is kind of funny because it's not really a charity buying artwork. Could be a method of wealth transfer as well, though, to get around taxation. You never know. You never know. A lot of paintings work like that. But again, this is just, I've got nothing to back this up. It's just like my own thought.
There we go. Jesus Christ. All right. It's like I haven't done this in a while. I'm almost set. I promise. I promise you a really shitty show is coming. Just hold on as I get everything ready.
Excuma says, with a 50.
It was all ready.
This week,
I was actually ready well in advance.
This week, Long making a better new studio meant cleaning his old. Yeah.
The great thing about this.
It was like 2 weeks. He said he was setting up a new studio. And this is the new studio. It's not finished yet, guys. I guess he's got another paint. He's got 2 more paintings on the floor. I'm sure in another 5 days he'll put up this next painting over here, and then it'll be almost complete. And then he's just got this one over here. There you go. Then
everybody wants you to
thank you for the 50. Much appreciated.
They want you to like address everything, and so I'll have to address everything in a very specific way, because I don't know if you guys know, but there are certain charges and allegations against.
Look, it is true that he has to speak about it in a certain way. But I'm pretty sure just saying I didn't do it does not interfere with your case. Just say I did not do it. It's not true. Of course, if it is true, that's lying. So you can't say that. So you don't say that, right? Like, has there ever been a case where someone was wrongly accused of murder and they said I didn't kill the man, and then it actually affects their case, like saying that I don't know. But just say it's not true. just say the cuckoldry is not true. Just say that the drugs and the kids is not true. Just say anything's not true.
Me at the moment, and I have to talk in very specific ways about those things. Typically, not talking about them is what I have to do, but I have to talk a little bit about them.
Let's see if I can show the
because I talk in public for a living, and people want to know what's going on. Obviously,
right, so I've got his chat overlay. I'm just gonna watch this until we see one of the super chats disappear. It was happening on the pre-stream more often, but I wonder if it happens.
Why is it on this other fucking channel? Rumble right now is really pissing me off.
I want to see. Well, there's a little bit of striking though.
We're just gonna do this. I'm gonna talk for a minute, very briefly, and then we'll I'm gonna read the chats and then we'll go. This is not gonna be a long stream. It was go.
Hold on, there's a question thing here. To your charity money theory, stuff like super chats would be a great way to launder money back to him. Just saying, I don't think he's laundering money through super chats. I think that he did earn if you want to say earn the super chats, like he did entertain people to the degree, or formed a parasocial relationship with people to the degree where he earned, for lack of a better word, those super chats. I think there's a lot of easier ways to do it than by sending it through YouTube. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Just because it's very time consuming to send it through in like these $20 or $50 increments, but also because the YouTube taxes as well. So like if a $10 super chat goes through, 30% goes to YouTube straight up. And then if you're on an Apple device, then another 20% goes to Apple. So a $10 super chat is either $7 on an Android or computer, or $5 on Android. On Apple. So there's much better ways to launder money than losing 50% to Google and /Apple. There's a lot easier ways to launder money at much better rates. So it's not a bad theory, But in practice, just because of the huge cut that YouTube takes, it would be a massive waste of money. And like when you have hundreds of millions of dollars in oil money, you can pay for the good money laundering, where you pay like a fraction of a fraction, right? Interesting theory, though. Definitely interesting theory.
Going to be a much longer stream, but first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected.
There you go. It says it again. Release of information that's supposed to be protected. Now, again, whoever released this document is probably committed a crime in doing so. This is sensitive information that should not have come out. Now, that's why I redacted the children's name, even though you can find it out. You can find it out there. But whoever did this did take a big risk. Unless it was just the files was located, like they misplaced the files on like some clerk's desk or something, and they're just like, I don't know. No, even so, it would still be illegal to do that because it would be in the courthouse.
At a very specific time, right after I announce the show and right before the show starts, is
like I've even heard suggestions that that if you're a lawyer and you cover these documents, you could be putting your own law degree at risk. Not degree, but your own barment could be in trouble if you talk about this. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an American, so I don't give a shit. But it may be the case that certain, that a lot of law tutors don't talk about or don't show these documents. They may mention it in passing. I don't know, because they could actually risk perhaps ethical complaints from talking about these documents.
Is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that right away.
Disbarment. I don't know what it is.
I know people want to draw conclusions from whatever's going on. And look, there's no way around it. There's nothing to say other than
I didn't do it. Just say I didn't do it.
People will get to draw their conclusions from what they read. I'm not here to fight you guys at all. I'm not here to fight your conclusions. I'm not here to fight or justify or prove anything. I don't need to do that for you. Believe it or not, a lot of really well-meaning friends want me to do that. And these people are lawyers, which is shocking. They want me. I'll say it this way. They say, Nick, you need to do X, Y, and Z because of your YouTube channel and your online image. And my response is, sir, madam, I don't know if you know this, but the lowest priority in my life right now is my public image for the purposes of YouTube and Rumble.
I think this is a total mischaracterization of what people have actually been saying. Sure, a lot of the chatters want people like I myself. I would love him to say that it's not true. It's all fake. It's all made up. I'm not into these degenerates act and anything. Like I would love him to say that, but that's not what the law people are saying. People on LawTube are saying, don't say anything. Stop talking. Don't mention anything about it. That's what they're saying. But when you have like a large audience, it's very easy to take one person's bad argument and then characterize that as what the entire audience is saying to make you sound like you're much smarter and in a much better position than you really are in. You see it every day, really. But I really don't think I've seen anyone, any of the actual lawyers on, Law Twitter or LawTube or anything. I don't think any of them are saying anything other than just shut up and stop talking about this.
So any of you who want me to come out here and
the audience
do some weird grandiose apology or prostrate myself in front of you, let me just help you with my public image right now. Fuck you. Right in your goddamn mouth. I'm not here to worry about
some of the chat, like based law pope. Like people are like, oh, he said fuck you, that's so based. He's fucking abusing his kids. Maybe he's not hitting them. Maybe he's not touching them. But neglect is abuse. Leaving dangerous substances like cocaine is abuse around children. And you think that's based because he says that the government sucks? How fucking stupid do you have to be in Boldo's bunker right now? Like fucking hell.
Not what you think about me. And that should be obvious to damn near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down.
It's not that, he did let people down. Let's be honest. He did. Because he set himself up as this Chad dad Christian, lawyer man. And he'll say that oh, this was never a law channel. I never had this. Yes, you did. You literally had streams called the Chad dad streams where you talked about the dangers of degeneracy. You'd have your friends come over and talk about how cuckoldry Jack Murphy destroys lives, and you go and do it yourself. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's, of course you let people down. Of course you did.
Let you down. I didn't pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you.
You're pretty happy to take the money, though. Pretty happy to play that role while it bankrolled your midlife crisis buying that Mustang. Pretty happy to do it that way. But now that people are saying maybe you shouldn't give drugs to kids, maybe you shouldn't be engaged in these degenerate swinger thruples, now it's a problem. Oh, now it's a problem. I see. Very interesting. Is this live? This is live. This is not live.
So if you feel let down by me, let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams.
Okay, so if you were stupid enough to believe in Nick, to think that he stood for something, he stood for anything, you should just delete yourself. That's his message to his audience. If you think that he was if you used to think that he was a good man, you should just delete yourself. You should step off the stool, Robin Williams, in his own words. That's what he thinks of you.
I'm not here for you. I'm not here to own your feelings, and I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either. And if I did, you shouldn't respect me, because
look at this fucking chat. Based, 100% based. Wow, based Lord Daddy. Fucking hell.
Anybody who comes out like a little
holy shit, there's one person. You're not even here for your kids. He's not here for the chat, and he's not even here for the kids. Holy shit.
Fucking bitch and says, I really am worried about my public image, not my family, not my liberty, not whole.
This is completely contradictory to the things he has claimed in the past in regards to the Vic Mignogna lawsuit as well. Nick said several times, get out and say you didn't do it and take control of the public narrative. That was his advice to Vic Mignogna. But again, rules for thee, not for me. He's all happy for open courts and not using PR companies and getting in front of the narrative when it's somebody else, when it's somebody else's dollars on the line. But when it's him, you can't be expecting him to share. Like, what are you doing? Like, you stay out, you weirdo. What are you, weird public, parasocial relationship? Why don't you just get out of here, you weirdo? Why don't you step off the stool? That's what he thinks when it's him in the line of fire. Because make no mistake, if this was anybody else, he would be streaming about this right now. Well, I mean, 7 hours ago.
Government accountable, none of that. But my public image, my public image? Well, you're probably a fat Canadian, or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city.
So he's making reference to the Kino Casino there. That's Andy Warski and PPP. And that's because, very, very funny actually, Andy Warski, when he was supposed to go to Knoxville to fight Tonkasaw, and Nick went there himself as well. He flew to, where was it? He was supposed to fly to Knoxville, and he went to Nashville, as I recall. So Nick went to go see Andy, who still made it to the event. He just picked the wrong flight. Like, you know what? It's like, which way, Western Man? Do you want to be on the side of the guy that picked the wrong flight but still made it to the event, or the guy that gave his children drugs to the point where they were taken away by the cops? Wow, that's a big fucking own. Andy flew to the wrong fucking city. Wow, glad I'm not in his shoes right now. How embarrassing. Yeah, Andy showed up. Tonka didn't even show up. Andy still made it to the event. How is this an own? I mean, I guess you could talk about Andy's coke use, but then that might put him under fire as well, right? I think Andy's been clean for a long time, though, actually. I mean, I will say that I think Andy's shows, Andy PPP, they're great. I love the Kino Casino. They do ramble on a little bit, and I kind of tune out when it's like the Fuentes shit. Like, that's kind of boring to me. But the other stuff's good. They're pretty good.
Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are, but I'm not here to apologize to
Not sure who the doughy Minnesotan is, unless he's talking about Aaron, but Aaron's kind of thin.
You or for anything. I am under the thumb of government at the moment, which means
yes, he is under the thumb of government. But that's like a power word for his chat. It's like, I'm under the thumb of government. That means that the government's oppressing me. Maybe they'll oppress you one day. If you're not on my side, then you might get under this very same situation. You're under the thumb of government because you chose this degenerate lifestyle. The government didn't plant the cocaine. The government didn't force you to take the cocaine. You took the drugs. You made these life decisions. You got into a quadruple relationship where you're all three monkeys sitting to a bed or whatever it is. And then like the kids are knocking on the door asking for SpaghettiOs. These are things that you did. And now you're under the government's thumb because of your poor life choices. It's nobody else's fault but your own. And until he takes responsibility for that, and not to his audience, because I mean, I don't think you should apologize to an audience like a big crowd, because it's like you should only really apologize to people individually and people that you know like personally, right? Because you'll never satisfy an audience by apologizing. They're just like digging deeper. So there's really no point in doing so. But until he takes accountability in his own mind, until he accepts that he was a shit father. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be a good father in the future. It doesn't mean he wasn't a good father in the past, but your own actions precipitated these events. So the government came and took your children away to the point where they're drug testing them. This is ridiculous. Your children saw the government knock down your door and take them away because of your actions. And he has to come to terms with that.
Government gets to say whatever they want about me, and I don't get to respond. That's a shit place to be. We've talked about.
You can respond, though. You can say it's not true. You can say it's all fake. But the problem is, it isn't fake. And we have no reason to take you at your word because we saw you doing the drugs. Multiple people have told basically the same story about the kids being hungry, about the kids being smelly, about them not changing their clothes. That's neglect. That's fucking neglect. There's 4 adults in that house and not one person. Well, I guess Aaron claims that he cooked food for the kids or something. I don't know how accurate Aaron's story is. Is it Aaron? It's Aaron, right? Alex Channel with 5,000 won. Oh, hello there, my Korean friend. Across the ditch. I'm over in Japan, if you did not know. They are lying about my character. I'm not apologizing for what I did. These two things don't go together. Very true. Nice thing to point out there. Nice thing. Nice little point. And John with the $2. He says, we're not getting old Nick back, are we? I don't think so. Redemption's like, it's not impossible that he can come back from the edge and go back to being like at least how he presented himself in the past. The problem is you'll never earn back the respect of the people that you've broken the trust. It's the what is it? Once bitten, twice shy situation. That doesn't mean you can't live a good life. Doesn't mean he can't be a fantastic entertainer again, because he's an entertaining guy. But he just felt like he needed more. You know, I think that's what this all came from, is like looking at the grass on the other side, saying, oh man, I wish I was that party boy. I wish I hadn't settled down. I mean, maybe I'll just try it a little bit. But it's like a trap. The temptation, you have to resist it. It only leads to unhappiness. He had everything. Rich parents, or rich grandparents at least. The house in the countryside, a massive property. Was it 5,000 feet or something? He could go deer hunting in his backyard. Sure, he had to live in Minnesota and deal with the other Minnesotans. But he had the wife, the college sweetheart, 5 kids. Personally, he's trying to save the white race. It's obviously a job. I'm not. I mean, he is doing that, but like, I'm just having a bit of a josh there. But like, he had everything: the money, the fame, the wife, the kids. But it wasn't enough. It's never enough. It's never enough, is it? It's never enough. I think streaming lifestyles just always end up in degeneracy. And I think the reason is because there's so much free time. Like, he claims he is like so super busy, right? Can't do anything. But then when you actually see him, his own words about talking about it when he's busy, he's like, well, I'm busy in a metaphorical sense. Like, he doesn't have the bandwidth to understand, like to listen to it. But it's just something about not having to get up in the morning and go talk to other people to interact, do your job. Something about that just corrupts people. I got to be careful, right? Because I work at home as well, right? I don't have to get up and go to work at 9 a.m. or anything like that. I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to. So, you know, maybe this will happen to me one day too, but thank God it hasn't. I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay. But like, I think I've been calling it like streamer brain, because you start getting these crazy ideas. Like, I think the first time I really heard a crazy Nick take was when he was saying that like, OnlyFans mums will be an acceptable profession for kids, like as if like kids literally haven't like off themselves because their mums was on OnlyFans and the kids were sharing around their photos. Like, he was like, I think Nick said this. He said like he's like, in the future, I think that kids will think it's cool. Like they'll have their gold iPhone and they'll say, and the other kids will say, haha, your mum does OnlyFans. And he's like, yeah. And I get to have this, I get to go to Disneyland every year because of it. That's based. No, it's not fucking based. Literally, that'll never be fucking based. If your mum's selling her pussy pics, kids are going to make fun of you to the point where you probably want to leave that school or actually off yourself. And we know this because it's already happened. It's just obvious. But again, like when you get streamer brain, because you don't have to interact with other people, you don't have to face the judgment of your peers, these crazy ideas start to make sense to you. I mean, he must have been already pretty high at that point when he was doing, like, must have been the daily drug using at that point to make up those crazy fucking theory. When I heard that, I was like livid. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It a lot on this show.
All right, let's continue. Sorry.
What's funny is a lot of my colleagues have talked a lot about it too. But the moment it happens, they all tuck their nuts up into their own assholes and become the biggest pack of fucking gabbling women I've ever seen. Running around.
Gabbling women? Your kids have allegedly tested positive for drugs in excess of 10 times the basic level. Oh, the giggling women. How can the women be so, oh, heavens to Betsy. Think of the children. This isn't fucking kids watching some TV show that like is maybe not good. Like it's not like kids watching Rambo when they, oh, is this too bloody? Like, oh, maybe this will make, no, you've exposed them to cocaine. What the actual fuck? He homeschooled his kids. He homeschooled his kids to keep them away from the degeneracy. But then he brought the degeneracy into his own house. What? You know what? The government school's starting to look pretty good. Fucking hell.
Come on, apologize. Bow down. Bow. Beg. Tell everybody that you're sorry. For what? What am I sorry for? They don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. What I know is the government has accused me of some criminal acts. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family.
No, you've engaged in degenerate acts that the government deems illegal, and now you're under their thumb because of your actions. I don't have a problem with people doing drugs, honestly. If you're a single guy, lady, or like, you know, married with no kids and you want to be degenerate, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Get fucked up. The second you have kids, that changes. You have responsibility because children can't look after themselves. That's why they're fucking children. Despite what EVS might tell you, they need help. That's what parents' literal job is.
The accusation from government is not a conviction. It may convict you in the eyes of people, and that's fine. If I'm convicted in your eyes, good. Go find someone else. You're now validated. I bid you adieu. I'm sorry I let you down by never promising anything and doing something that you...
Well, you promised, was it 14 local streams in May? What happened to those? What happened to those? You did promise. You did make some promises. You promised a 5K's local gift. You promised a 24-hour stream for 100K subscribers. Maybe he's just waiting for when he comes back to 100,000 subscribers. Maybe that was the offer. You know, his special lawyer talk is like, well, I promised a 24-hour stream for 100K. I didn't say I was going over 100K. Could have been under 100K. Oh, you know what? Prove me right. There you go. By the way, if you just joined us, remember to do like the stream. It does help out. If we get over 400 likes, then it does give us a bit of a boost. YouTube shares us out a bit more and it gets a bit more eyes on the show. It's much appreciated. Of course, I love it if you send in donations as well. But if you can't, that's fine. Just like the stream. Maybe say hi in chat. It helps out. It really does. The algorithm notices people are talking. They're like, oh, okay, we'll promote this a bit more. It does help out.
Didn't approve of, maybe. Except that thing that I'm supposed to have done still remains to be seen. But I will say this: I will be holding government to its full accountability to the extent of my rights. And anybody
now, this I think this is the legal angle he's going to go with, is that the government overstepped their bounds in some way, and therefore all the evidence they found is inadmissible. He may actually be able to get away with something like that. Like, he might be acquitted, but just being acquitted doesn't mean you're innocent. Does anyone honestly believe that he wasn't engaged in this copious drug use and also degeneracy with swinging cuckoldry with other couples. And there is no way you can raise a family in that situation and have them turn out normal. I'm sorry. Okay. That's not an environment that kids understand. If you're trying to, like, kids learn by example, which is probably how the child got the cocaine in the first place, because she learned by example by seeing daddy hoover up, like, this massive line of what they must have thought was like sugar or sweets or some shit. Kids see the way that you treat your partner. They see the way you interact in, like, when you're out and about in the world, how you treat waiters, how you treat people when you're getting your car serviced. Anytime your kids are around and you're interacting in the world, or anyone else, they watch and they emulate, and that's how they learn to be people. So when you go to daddy's room and ask him for some food because you're hungry, because you haven't been fed, and you knock on the door and there's 4 people to a bed, Nick in the middle, by the way. So it was like, apparently the setup was Aaron, Kayla, Nick, April. I think that's right. So he's in the middle, living out his Conan the Barbarian fantasies or some shit. I don't know. When kids see that, that's what they assume relationships are. They learn by example. The kids are brainwashed by the church already. Look, I think them being brainwashed, would you rather be brainwashed by the church or brainwashed by the Baldo Pope? I think I know which I'd pick. Earblank with a $10 says, apparently my super was too spicy. Really? Well, I would never delete a super chat, but YouTube sometimes does it. Unlike Nick's moderators who were sweeping all day. I think, was it Nova? Said that he had like a clip of super chats disappearing. We might take a look at that. If you send it, if you'd like, tag me on Twitter or on Discord, I'll bring it up.
Who thinks I shouldn't do that? Okay. I don't know what law channels you're watching. Probably a cockeyed Koreans or something. Someone who doesn't understand the value of innocence until proven guilt. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. So obviously he's talking about Legal Mindset here. I believe Legal Mindset will be streaming in about 2 hours from now. It might be interesting to see that. I'll probably stream right into Andrew after this. But he's saying that I want to re-listen to that second, actually. I will be holding government to its full accountability to the extent of my rights. And anybody who thinks I shouldn't do that, goodbye. Okay. I don't know what law channels you're watching. Probably a cockeyed Koreans or something. Someone who doesn't understand the value of innocence until proven guilt. Nobody's been saying you're not innocent until proven guilty, but we've seen you do these things. There's a difference between doing something that's wrong and doing something that's illegal. We know you've engaged in acts that are wrong, and don't come on me and say that, like, you can have a throuple situation. It's not wrong. You can have all these like degenerate drug fueled orgies when you've got kids in the house. It's not. No, yes, it is. It is because, again, kids have the opportunity to be exposed to these things. You're putting them at danger for all manner of things. First of all, like the drugs, the strangers you're inviting to your house, and when the cops come and show up to get your ass, if the cops knocked on the door, they threw a flashbang in, and the kid was in the room, you would be responsible for that because your action brought the government with their flashbangs to your house. Yes, the officer threw the grenade. Why did they throw it? Because you were being fucked up. It's your responsibility as the parent. The father is the head of the household. It's his job to make sure it's in order. Okay? So yes, you do deserve your day in court of law. And yes, you should be treated fairly. But you did do these things because you recorded yourself in 4K doing them. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. Who are you going to believe, me or your lying? Or maybe people who just like to talk really big about not listening to government until the government comes knocking. Then suddenly, they're fucking pussies. I think he's referring to potentially criminal Sean here. Running around in the truest definitions of a 90s faggot. Crying, prostrating themselves, begging for the leather to put their tongue on. Like it's a big chocolate starfish of their local police chief or whatever. Sorry. You will never, ever find that attitude from me or my channel. And you will never have me apologize to you for anything in my life other than being late to streams and being generally inept and retarded at running them. I'll apologize.
There was like, I think I saw like in Nick's chat when I was watching this live, there was 200 Watt Studio, who sometimes shows up in my chat. And he said like, usually people say like late and gay. I think this time he was like, you're later than a tie beard filing. And I was like, holy shit, that is a spicy one. Okay, so let's see. There's some video evidence of the, all right, let's, hold on a second. Let me just, this is the super chats being, when I show them on Discord, I have to download them. It's kind of annoying. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Just preview. Yeah. Yeah, this is basically what's happening. This is basically what's happening through the entire stream. So you'd have these, this is obviously recorded on mobile. So someone sent in a $5 that says, here's some money to buy Tide Pods for your kids, just disappears. That was happening the entire pre-stream. And these weren't automatically deleted things. These were definitely things that were being deleted manually by either the moderating team that Nick has or himself. And I saw that happen. I think I saw, well, dozens of super chats being deleted. All right, let's continue with it. But that was what it was like. It was just, they were just bloop, 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 disappearing. There was actually a really funny one. Like one of the moderators, I guess, was going rogue. And they said like, I think they said, chats about the children will stop being deleted for $50 and above, which is pretty spicy for a moderator. I assume they lost their moderator privileges for that, but that one moderator out there that was saying that was pretty funny. Sometimes mods are good people, occasionally. Oops, did I mute this? Oh no, wait, sorry, it's the wrong stream.
It's for that, because I'm guilty of that. But anybody out there speculate?
No, it wasn't Sigurdi. You know, broken clock is right twice a day, but Sigurdi's never right, despite being as broken as he is.
Right now about whether or not a government document is accurate. Well, I'll let you determine if government is accurate or not. It's not up to me. It's up to the government to prove they're accurate. As for me, I have a lot to say about what is on documents that have been released.
Then say it.
Paper copies of documents released before they're available to the public. That's a little strange. Case files that are protected being accessed by members of the public. That's a little strange. The timing of certain drops coming out. That's a little strange.
That was, I will give him credit here, though. That is very strange. Like whoever did this either really doesn't like Nick or just thinks this is very, very funny. But who can say? Who can say?
The thinness of a search warrant.
If he's deleting comments, he's done. With 0% chance of him not. Well, I mean, the chats were deleted, and they weren't chats that were being deleted for like bad words and stuff. It was just like detractor chats. They were absolutely being deleted by either the moderators or Rekieta. Now, who deleted them, we don't know. Unless one of the moderators goes rogue, because when you are a moderator, you can see what another moderator does. It's kind of fun, actually, because like if you're a moderator in someone else's chat and someone deletes a chat, you can actually click on it and say why it was deleted. So if one of the moderators wanted to show that, they could if they wanted to defect, but you know, who can say? Who can say? They wouldn't. They'd be giving up that ability to see what all those things are happening, so it's unlikely. But sometimes YouTube does suppress things. Like it has an AI that detects if like something is potentially abusive, and it does delete those, or at least hides them until a YouTuber approves them. But that's not what was happening in this case. They were just super chats that were popping up and actually being deleted in real time. And some of them were like big bucks too, like 20, 50 bucks. They were just being erased. You could probably see them in full if you went to the Kiwi Farms. I was watching it live. It was pretty crazy. Especially since Nick said that his chat was like a free speech zone where you could just no spamming was the only rule, right? I assume it was just the work of the moderators, but you never know. You never know.
And probable cause statement, very strange. But it's not for me to fight these things on YouTube. And anybody who suggests that I should, or that I have some duty to explain to you my legal strategy, my legal avenues for doing this, or that anything I say or don't say is somehow either an admission or an omission of some duty I owe to the general public, Anyone who's saying that, anyone who is saying that is a lying grifter in the truest, not funny sense of the word.
See, grifting is like, we do have a bit of a joke with the word grift, but grifting is when you promise something and you don't deliver it, right? And Nick is literally like he's not even grifting anymore. He's just fucking scamming. It's actually just a scam. If you're paying for locals, you've been scammed because he's too busy, metaphorically, to put out the content that you're paying for. BP's not going to end this stream. No one's going to save you, Eva Blick. I heard the body cam footage is $3,000. So that was the estimate. It was like $3,000 to $5,000. $6,000 was raised by the Kiwi farms. And I believe the government has accepted some form of, maybe not the entire amount, but at least a portion of it. So yes, that is more or less accurate. But the money's already been raised. So it will be released as soon as the government, I guess, plays ball. Now, Nick or any of the parties involved could actually release it themselves if they wanted to, by consenting to its release. And even though Nick can't say anything to her, like, let's say Nick's theory, I mean, it's true, right? You shouldn't talk about the case. It's only going to hurt your chances. But the government already has the body cam footage. Showing the body cam footage does in no way incriminate himself further, just in the eyes of the public, in the court of public opinion, right? So if his house isn't a disaster, if the children aren't starving and wearing dirty clothes, just release the body camera footage. Their faces will be blurred. Like, people don't want to see the kids. People want to see the house. That's like the cope that some people have been saying is like, oh, the Kiwi farmers, they just want to see. No. Like, everyone on the Kiwi farms, and I'm not a Kiwi farmer. I read the Kiwi farms, but I don't have an account. I don't engage in the conversation. Nobody wants to see the face of the children. They all want that blurred. They want that shit blurred. And if it came in and it was unblurred, I would blur it myself. Like I've removed all the names from any of the minors. People want to see the house. But yes, the footage was raised. The money was raised. About $6,000 was raised. So it will be coming out eventually. But what you get, not sure yet.
And I have zero respect for anyone like that, especially if they call themselves a lawyer. Anyone who calls themselves a lawyer and immediately demands me to run out and bend over before government not only shouldn't be a lawyer, they shouldn't be an American, and they shouldn't be a lot of other things. Because last I checked, we don't do that around here.
Look, I don't like the government as well. I'm not an American, but I don't like the government. I think that's a lot of people can feel that same way, right? The government does do some good things, okay? When they take people away from actual, like, trafficking or actually abusive parents, like arguably you are, I mean, neglect is abuse. It is abuse. I'm pretty pro-government when they do that. You know, when they actually save people, I actually am approving of the government actions when they do that shit. Not a big fan of it, but sometimes the most vulnerable people in the world need to be protected. And if the parents can't do it themselves, who else is going to do it?
I've long talked about the transparency of courts and what they're for.
Okay. So I guess this is in relation. People are saying, like, if you're unaware, basically, Josh of the Kiwi Farms has submitted or is going to submit a petition for the next trial to be open court, you know, cameras in the courtroom, live stream, so we can all watch it. And he is receiving affidavits from various lawyers. I think he wanted to get 10 lawyers. I think Andrew and Sean have submitted affidavits, and I think he has one other person. So he has at least 3. And I believe there's also 1,000 signatures on the document. And Nick has said in the past that everything should be live streamed, everything should be open to make sure we can keep the government accountable. So this is what he's talking about now.
It's amazingly ironic to me that people hear me talk about that. They'll agree with me. The transparency of courts was always to hold government accountable, by the way, not your fellow man. It was always to hold government accountable. It was because prior to the United States.
Okay. But that applies in this situation. So what he's saying here is that people only want the open courtroom so that they can judge Nick, right? Not to keep government accountable. But Nick is making the argument that the government is setting him up and that it's a giant conspiracy. So surely, by his own argument, we need to see we need to see the data, we need to see the live stream, we need to see the court case to keep the government accountable. He is saying the government's being bad in this situation. So surely The answer is to have it open and viewable so it can't be taken advantage of. But he knows he did it. He knows people are just going to laugh at him as they just show him what he, like, the government's just going to show up and show you what you did. Now, maybe, is it possible that like there's an overzealous CPS worker or someone that had bad blood? Sure, it's always possible. It's always possible. But it's Occam's razor. The simplest answer is the most likely. And we saw you doing the getting fucked up on stream. We saw the coke on your nose. Did they just make that up? These things happened. You streamed yourself doing these things. No one has any reason to believe you now. If this came out of left field, like if there was no fucked up drunk streams, if there was no like coke streams, and this came out of this just all happened, then sure, maybe I would give Nick the benefit of the doubt. But because I saw him doing these things, because other people in the community, not just the government, have been saying these things, why should I believe him now? Give me a reason. Give me a reason. And if it's just, the reason is just, well, I like him. I think it's funny. I think he's my guy, right? That's just bias. That's just bias.
It's the legal system was that of the King of England. And he had the Star Chamber. He was the court. He was the enforcement arm of law, the judgment arm of law. And those courts were held in private. People's charges were private. The details about them were private. The public wasn't allowed to analyze them. I've talked about how, even though it can be embarrassing, our country was founded on the principle of distrust of its authority, distrust of its government, a healthy, necessary evil of putting a few people in charge of many, but holding them accountable and adhering to freedom. And the amount of fucking pussies out there now who consistently lose that principle and say, no, actually, government must be correct at all times.
Did he just do an old bamboozle? He's like, this system existed so that the court of England could not hide away the crimes they were committing against the populace. And then it's just like the old switcheroo. And now it's like, well, you must love the government. If you want to see the government doing its, like, show us then. Just show us.
Baffles me more
this is
when
actual
you work with
gaslighting.
the government in the system. And
I'm actually being gaslit right now. What the fuck?
Okay. I will not. I never will. You'll never get that from me on this channel.
No, you were just talking about making the courts open so that people could see your innocence. So then just consent to it being open to the public. What the fuck? What the hell? Did anyone else? I feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills right now. So my house with a member for 22 months. Holy shit, almost 2 years. This isn't actual money, but it's nearly 2 years of consistent money. Also, Nick sucks. This is all. Thank you very much. If you do join as a member, you get access to the one free member chat a month, I suppose. And also you help support the channel and you get access to the private Discord where we can share all our spicy memes. There's a lot of good shit in there. It does help me out. If you want to, consider it, you know. Unlike Nick, I don't promise things that I don't deliver on. I've delivered everything, although the quality may vary.
I will not be coming out here crying to you about something that didn't ever involve anyone here. You watch this show because for some reason it entertains you. I often fucking wonder what it is because I couldn't watch my show. I would find it terrible. And maybe you do. And maybe that's what you like. That's cool. Maybe.
I mean, I had stopped watching until this happened. This is the only thing that has reignited my interest in this channel is that I'm seeing something that's just beyond belief from my point of view, because, you know, I live a pretty normal life, honestly. Like, I didn't want to believe all these crazy allegations of swinging and degeneracy. I believe the drug stuff from the beginning because that just made sense to me. Because he said he was like a libertine sort of guy that, you know, it always made sense to me. But I wanted to believe that the swinging shit wasn't true, that the cuckoldry wasn't true, but it's all true. It was all true. What rumor has been proven false so far? Like literally they were just all true. The only rumor that hasn't, I guess, had been proven or anything is, I guess, Drexel being the bull, which I don't think that's true. But that was originally claimed. It doesn't seem to be the case. He outsourced his black bulls from Jamaica, not the one that he has as his friend. You know, it'd be a bit weird if he did. Billy Oki with 2 Singaporean dollars. Thank you very much. He says, you definitely definitely haven't delivered the 48-hour stream. I never promised a 48-hour stream. Look, I'll do another 24-hour stream if I eventually get to 24,000 subscribers. Probably a long way away. I'll promise you that. But 48-hour stream, I never promised. That was lying by Max and probably BP, and a conspiracy against me.
Find it wildly enjoyable. That's great. I'm glad.
No, I may have misspoken
to
to 48 hours,
you.
but I didn't promise it.
This stream is not about entertainment, although many of you will probably be entertained by it, and that's good. This stream,
I mean, it's entertaining in the same way that a bear attack is entertaining. It's like, it's horrible, but you can't look away.
Is one of the few real serious streams that I have to do, because I will be back full-time streaming. And this was going to be the announcement for that. A little bit of recognition of the differences in the studio that I have.
Yeah, let's review the differences. Holy shit, he does look like, he looks like a totally different. I must have picked the chunkiest picture of him. That's kind of crazy. When he actually had like meat on his bones. But like, this is the difference in the studio. He took down the whiskey. He took down the whiskey bottles. Wow, great. We needed a stream to announce that you took down the whiskey bottles, and you're going to be doing more promised streams. Announcement of an announcement. Wow, holy shit, great. This is totally necessary. If he didn't want to do this, he didn't have to. He chose to do this. It paid the bills too. Again, this stream, this Cope stream, he made $1,500.
Not different. It's the same studio, but different decorations and arrangements of things.
You cleaned the carpet as well. Show me the carpet, and I'll believe it. I don't believe that at the moment.
Still some stuff to be done on it. We were going to talk about my biggest current concern, which is I got more fan mail, but tonight's no longer appropriate for that. Yes, that's right. In the midst of all of this, I got an ethics complaint for swearing too fucking much, which puts me at, I think, 57. I think. I lost count.
Alyssa has a studio tour of it. Maybe we'll check that out another time.
It was going to be a more entertainment-focused show. I know people are going to have commentary. They're going to have questions. They're going to have demands about my situation. And I'll just have to say, all the things I'm going to say impactful to my case will be said through counsel in court. They won't be said here. You've watched this channel long enough. You should understand that.
I thought it wasn't a law channel. Why would I understand that if it's not a law channel, Nick? He did say, like, if you're not aware, he did say this. He said that Rekieta law explaining the internet from a small law firm in central Minnesota is not a law show.
And if that's not acceptable to you, too fucking bad. There's no other way for me to do it.
I do like the little thing that he kind of maybe subconsciously put in there. It's like, I was going to read an ethics complaint tonight, but because you've been bad, because you've been telling me that I'm a bad person, you're not going to get it tonight. It's like, did you guys notice that? It's like, I would have done something you would have enjoyed, but because the chat keeps demanding that I talk about this, you're not going to get it. It's like a parent. They make up, like when they make up those, like, I was gonna feed you tonight, but looks like you fell over and ripped your pants. Guess no dinner, no dessert tonight, little Timmy. Who's a worse father, Nick or Ralph? Good question, honestly, because I don't think that Ralph ever gave his kids drugs. Ralph did blow smoke in his baby's face, though. That's pretty bad. And he exposed his baby to a pedo in the form of Panzer. So it's honestly a toss-up. It's honestly a toss. It's actually hard to decide.
Right now, I am charged with a serious felony. Many of you have heard that sentence. Possibility is 25 years. It's a very unlikely outcome for someone like me, but it is a possibility, I suppose, in the grand.
Yeah, like up until today, I would have said that it's zero chance of that happening, of him getting like actual time and served. Although I do have I think it's a $20 bet with Pepsi Man, or who can say? Was it $20? I think it was $20 with Pepsi or maybe Nova. One of the two. I got a $20 bet going that Nick wouldn't serve time in a prison. I'm feeling worse about that bet today. I can tell you that. I would have said that he would have got like community service or like probation or deferment or diversion, whatever it's called. But after today, not looking too good. Actually, I think when I was previewing Andrew's stream, I think he's going to talk about the possibility of diversion if this document is indeed true. And I think Nick's going to go on to say that it's not true, but would be the first time he's denied anything. But in doing so, he's accusing a government healthcare worker of perjury. It's a pretty serious allegation. He may be opening himself up to another defamation claim, actually.
Scheme of things. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be laughed at. People come out and they say, Nick hasn't taken accountability for his actions. And I'm like, the government hasn't proven my actions. So how can I take accountability for that which hasn't been shown?
It's interesting to switch the blame to the government as well, because like it wasn't the government that was saying your kids, like the government's acted on hearing that your kids were hungry, but it wasn't the government that brought those concerns up. It was the people in your community, the churchgoers, the preschool teacher that said that your kid was complaining of not being fed. But now it's all the government. They just acted on the things that you did.
What I do know is this. I have counsel in this case. People thought I would represent myself because I guess they're retarded.
No, because you represented yourself at the arraignment. You represented yourself, your wife, and April, except she was released early because she probably like told on you, honestly, for being quite honest. You did. And you've been filing pro se changes on the court by switching the judge that you said had like beer flowing out of her vagina. You have represented yourself in this case. You represented yourself at the arraignment, and you've been sending in pro se changes. You're acting as a lawyer. Now, maybe you're not the lawyer representing you on the case. That is true. But again, these are these weasel words. You have to be very careful the way he says these things. Where he's like, well, if you thought I was representing myself, you must be a retard. Except he's already done it twice. You got to be very careful the way that the very sneaky language. Don't believe your lying eyes. What are you, stupid?
I have counsel in this case. He seems like a good dude, a competent dude, and we will be going through this and doing what needs to be done. I see a lot of speculation on the internet, and I can see basically all of it has many of the major details wrong. And that's
many of the major details wrong. So there's an element of truth there. That's the inferred thing. If many of the major details are wrong, or how are they wrong? Well, they said they arrested me on a Wednesday. It was actually a Tuesday. That's a major detail that's wrong. What do you mean? What do you mean by many of the major details are wrong? Not many of the major details didn't happen. Many of them are misrepresented. Again, important language to look for.
Fine.
Very sneaky way of talking.
Most of the details aren't for anybody. And that covers a whole lot more.
Yes, but you said the details aren't for everybody, sure, but you've said in this stream that the open court system is important to make sure that the government is held accountable. So you are saying in one breath, nobody should be looking at these details. And in the other breath, of course, you need to be able to see the details of every case to make sure that nothing fuckery is going afoot. And you said that fuckery is going afoot here. So we need to see. Just pick a fucking position.
Than the criminal case, nothing. Just my life. My life story is becoming marvelously interesting, even though it's painful and really fucking annoying a lot of the time.
It is fucking annoying when you can't just do whatever you want, when other people hold you accountable. That is really annoying. It's really annoying when you just want to be fucked up on coke, collect checks from super chatters and I guess your grandparents, and then just go and fuck two chicks, I suppose, probably more. And I guess Camelot also said that he had a hooker addiction for Jamaican prostitutes. I don't know how accurate Camelot's statements are. Like the $20,000 a month in coke thing. I feel like that was something that Nick was bragging about, and maybe it was like a game of telephone where it got exaggerated over and over and over sort of thing. But yeah, it is pretty annoying when you just want to be able to go get hand jobs in the Twin Cities, but instead you have to, raise your family that you chose to have.
The government will be dealt with as, I guess, time permits, allows. I'm not even sure how to say it. As the time becomes appropriate, government will be dealt with in course. These charges will be dealt with in course. I know what many of you are saying about these types of charges and the allegations against me. And you know what? Say what you will. Watch. You get to watch it live. You get to see what it does with me, to me. You get to see the outcome as it happens. It's pretty fucking rare. Should be a good show for you guys. For me, it'll be one of the most stressful and horrifying times of my entire life.
Yeah, but you'd do it for anyone else. Literally anyone else. Like Amber Heard shitting on the bed. Pretty embarrassing. Made a lot of money off of doing that.
As I've always said, being under indictment by the government is one of the worst positions people can be in.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, I would agree with that. Now, there's a one trick you can do to prevent that from happening, and it's just staying away from all their illegal shit. And I'm not saying that the government hasn't framed people in the past, but why are they framing you? Because you got a little YouTube channel? Because you're so important that the government has to shut you down? Like the Minnesota, Spice in Minnesota? How many people live there? Like 4,000 people or some shit? I don't know. You're so important to the cause. You're going to get Trump reelected. Is that the case? Is that the theme here? You're so important. The government needs to do this to you. Like, why? Why is the government? They just like doing it? Maybe? No.
But I'll deal with it. Because unlike groveling, sniveling commentators online who've never had to deal with any actual adversity in their lives.
Okay, trust fund kid. Okay. Parents paying for all free ride, is it? Okay. All right. I guess I'm just stupid. I mean, what did you say? Like fuckwit commentators? Like, this is your job. Looking at legal things, pointing out what's funny about them, and entertaining people along the way is your job. If this happened, you do this to everybody every day. But now it's because it's about you. It's a bridge too far. It's a bridge too far. Oh my goodness.
That's what you do. That's not what a man does. That's not what a woman does. It's not about masculinity or femininity or anything. That's about what people have to do. There are times in your life where you are faced with something that you never could have imagined, that you never could predict, that you...
Like, unironic, like, this is a really good point, actually, Parallax. Remember when Nick laughed and read and laughed about Ron Toye's legal issues? So Ron Toye, if you aren't familiar, back when Nick was a pretty small channel, I think it was between 20,000 and 80,000 subscribers, he was covering quite consistently the Vic Mignogna case. And one of the defendants in that case, I guess not really the defendant, but it was the fiance of the defendant, Monica Real, was Ron Toye. Now, he was a piece of shit, and he threw a remote at his wife, I think, or like not even his wife. It was like his living girlfriend. And and Ron Toye was very famously quoted as saying, like, I'm going to kill a judge's kid. The thing is, that was just a thing he said. But here's the question. What do you think is of worse? Like, if we have to rate things in levels of morality, is it worse to throw a remote at your wife? Not a good thing to do. That is abuse. That is assault. You know, that's a terrible thing to do. Don't throw remotes at your wife. But is it worse, if you had to rate them, is it worse to throw a remote at your wife or give a 9-year-old cocaine? Which causes more damage to society? Like, honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Ron Toye is a better man than Nick Rekieta at this point, with the evidence that I've seen. Now, maybe it comes out that this is a giant government conspiracy. That would be the story of the year, worthy of a Netflix documentary or even like fugitive style feature film. If it turns out this is all a big conspiracy against the Reketamine, right? But why would they do that? What is their motivation? He was sitting there night after night, making fun of Ron Toye, wearing his wife beaters. He got a little remote that had a button, and when you played it, it would say, I'm going to kill a judge's kid. You know, he was making fun of that every day, laughing all the way to the bank. It was good content. Don't get me wrong. It was very entertaining. How is this different? How is the Ron Toye situation different from Rekieta's situation now? The only difference, I think, is that arguably Ron Toye is a better person, which is insane. Because he's a piece of shit.
You will not be prepared for. And again, I feel like a broken ass record because I've said all of this in the context of other people. When you are under the thumb of government, you are not prepared for it. No matter what you think you are not prepared for it. They will go after you in ways that you do not expect. They will come at you with information and you won't know if it's true. And you won't be able to...
All right, we'll do a poll. According to Grim wanted a poll. We'll do a poll. Who's a better father? Who's a better father? Nick, Ron, Toye. Also, be sure to like the stream. It does help out. You can
adequately
vote. Who's a better
challenge
father,
it
Nick or Ron
right
Toya?
away. There's a process. And that process in and of itself is designed to grind you into dirt. It's designed to make you capitulate to government. Because they'll say, we have this and this and this. And you'll say, fuck you, show me.
Okay, show us. Show us. Prove you're innocent.
And
say it's not true. Say you weren't using coke around your kids. Say you weren't swinging and cuckolding and everything around your kids. Just say that. Just say that. How could that affect the case? Just say it.
you do take a moment, when you do take a moment and you work with government, and you can find this in the recently leaked documents.
Again, recently leaked documents, not forged documents, not fake documents, not wildly salacious documents, leaked documents. He hasn't denied any of this.
And you cooperate by, say, asking them to come into your home. They will lie under oath to the judge. That's right, Alicia Sweep.
Oh, here we go. I think this is the moment, actually. Maybe this is he's going to finally deny it.
They will lie under oath to the judge. They will fabricate a situation that did not occur. They will lie about your willingness to cooperate. They will lie about things that you said. They will generate
Okay. I'll let him finish.
Statements said by other people out of nothing because I was there and that wasn't said. They will violate the rules of evidence.
Okay, so right now he is claiming that Alicia Sweep, who is, if you go to the document here, Alicia Sweep is listed as the Kandiyohi County Health and Human Services. So she's the one that kind of assessed that the children needed to be removed from the family. He is claiming now that she has fabricated, lied, and what else did he say? Hold on.
Nothing. Because I was there and that wasn't said.
Broken the rules of evidence? Is that what he said?
They will violate the rules of evidence.
They will
violate the rules of civil procedure. They will violate the rules of juvenile procedure. And disinterested judges and very fucking terrible attorneys will let it all go.
Okay, so let's say she did violate the rules of procedure. Does that mean you didn't give your kids this shit? Or you didn't allow these kids, the kids to find this shit because you left it on the couch, as Aaron claimed that you left a bullet of cocaine next to his 3-year-old? So because she broke a procedural law, it should be thrown out? Not because you didn't do it, not because you're innocent, because they didn't do it in the proper way? Wow, you've convinced me.
Because everyone grovels at the feet of government. But I don't.
Yeah, we're on 1.25 speed, Adriana. Look, again, I said it earlier, but the government can be a piece of shit and Nick Rekieta can be a piece of shit. These two things can exist at the same time, okay? You don't have to support the government and also say, you know, Nick, maybe you should lay off the coke. Both of these can be true. But this is like saying the government is the magic word. Like saying that I'm being oppressed is the magic word. This is literally the same thing that you see the left do when they say that they're being like oppressed by like Nazis and things, except it's the government this time. It's like putting it to this like power that appear. Like if we look at the chat, like I'm going to open Rekieta's chat now.
If you're ever in a situation,
let's see, is disabled? Hello there, chat. YouTube is doing something weird with me at the moment, where it's maybe I'll give it a second to see if it works. Show chat replay. All right, all messages. Let's see if it loads.
Like mine.
All right, there you go. Look at it. We back. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Cocaine isn't even that bad. Yes, child, we back. Stream scam, bamboozled. Oh man. You just say the government, the special word, it was all the government, and all the people come out and they start dropping the super chats. It's amazing. Amazing.
Pray that you're not. Do not.
Look at this one. They will lie and lie and lie. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. There's a lot of detractors in the chat too. That's kind of interesting to see. member says, agree to release the body cam footage. There you go, Nick. The government's lying. Just show the body cam footage. Censor the kids out. That's fine. No problem with that. But let us see it. If the government's hiding this information of your house, just show us.
Allow anyone to convince you that you should grovel before government or just accept.
There's actually a lot of people in the chat saying, sign off on the body cam footage then. Because Nick can do that straight away. Any of the members. So I'm not even sure. Maybe the police members can as well, but I guess it's against their procedure. But like Nick, Kayla, or April, as any of the adults in the situation, can sign off on having the body cam footage released. Again, maybe after it's been censored appropriately, but just to show you
an outcome
that would prove your house is not in disrepute.
Government's system of punishment is designed to fuck you, and it does it mercilessly, relentlessly.
Look at this person. Love the studio. Yeah, Depp is prominent. Freedom. Wow. Thank you, based Canadian. Love the studio. He took down a painting and put it up, and it took a fucking week. I have never seen a lazier person in my whole fucking life.
Apologetically, and it doesn't even call you good girl and spit in your mouth. It just does it. And when you're
tired, throw in some of his stand-up comedy for good effect there.
And bleeding on the bed, it does it again and again and again. You can't roll over until you're sore enough.
You know what causes people to bleed? Cocaine from the nose, especially if you're a child. Fuck off.
And that's what they want you to do, is roll over. Don't.
Oh, look at this. Kiwis are bootlickers.
Fight for your rights. You have them. They exist for a reason.
It's funny that the Kiwis were always bros and base when they were on the side of Nick and Ty Beard during the Vic Mignogna case. That was the time when Nick could do no wrong. He was our guy, according to the Kiwi farmers back then. But it's funny. It's happened several times, actually. The Kiwi farms is always the best place to get information until they start talking about you, and then it's all lies. All lies. Very, very interesting coincidence. Very strange little phenomenon you can observe in real time. As soon as they start talking about me, that's when they're lying. Check DMs. Even Brianna Weir. All right, I'll check the DMs. Maybe I won't show
including your right
I'll
to free
check the
speech.
DMs.
And I will sit here and I will fight for every one of those
bad.
commentators' rights to be a giant coward in the face of someone else's plight.
This is pretty bad. Brianna Weir. Drama alert says, alleged leaked court documents state Nick Rekieta's 9-year-old daughter tested positive for cocaine. Then Brianna Weir responds, to be fair, I would also do massive amount of cocaine if Nick Rekieta was my father. So I can't judge. Holy shit.
And it's amazing to watch
Yikes.
these people that I thought were courageous quiver in fear, performatively, just to beg you.
Who's quivering in fear? Nobody has quivered in fear. All they have said is either shut up or show us what happened with the body cam footage. This is the weird reframing. Like, always reframe the narrative so that everyone is cowardly and bootlickers. No, all they have asked is for transparency or silence because it's in your best interest. They are literally giving you good advice. Shut up. Stop fucking talking. In this stream alone, he has accused a county health worker responsible for looking after children that are from abuse, that they get taken out of abused homes, of perjury, of willingly lying to the court, breaking court procedure. That is actual defamation. He probably could be, I mean, I'm sure that they could, but I think that going on what they've already have on him is enough so far. Literally telling this woman, who I don't know who she is, maybe she's a liar, but her job is based on rescuing children from situations where they can't be safe. They can't grow up. They can't be kids. You're accusing this woman of incredibly salacious things. This stream was a big fucking mistake.
For one more.
And you look like a piece of shit doing it too. It's not even like a dunk. It's not even funny. It's not even like entertaining in a positive way. Like, it's entertaining in like a train wreck sort of way. But this is outrageous.
More $20 donation, please. It's embarrassing.
You're the one that fucking
With that, as stated, I will not be talking about my case. I will be resuming content focused on the same things we always focus on. That content will be absent any alcohol or anything else.
I mean, that's a good, like, you know, that's a good choice. Don't do it on stream.
That content will be jovial and lighthearted most of the time.
You're pausing too much to repeat the same thing over and over. We're going to be here all day. Hey, I don't know. I don't have anywhere to go. It's like 11 p.m. for me. I'm going to bed after this. If you got to go do work, that's your own responsibility, AM, not mine.
Except maybe if I'm in a bad mood. Because guess what, guys? You've always gotten me. Not a performative thing, not some mask, not some persona. You get me wherever I am.
Good point, though.
And sometimes I know over the past couple of years, you've gotten a dark version. You've gotten me on a really shitty fucking day. But hey, everybody has some shitty days. You've got me on some really fucking good ones, too. Hope to have many more of those with you. That being said, I am going to switch over. We're going to read all the super chats.
By the way, there's no, like, at this point, his mods were saying, Nick, there's no Rumble stream going. You can't, there's nowhere to switch over to because he boomed it.
That we've got. I'm not going to answer too many questions that involve anything even close to my case. Obviously, I think you guys can understand that.
So this is a 20-minute stream. The rest of the stream is reading the super chats. Do we want to read this? Do we want to listen to some of the super chats? I'll put it up to the chat. We might read it. We might read like 10 minutes, listen to 10 minutes of it. But that's basically like 20 minutes of stream. And as I said earlier, what was his reward for this 20-minute cope stream? $1,500. $1,500. Abuse, neglect your kids, get paid. Wow. I've been going about life all wrong, apparently. Only reward the bad people in life, it seems like it. All right, let's see.
Again, what's so shocking to me are all the lawyers who suddenly forgot that you can't talk about a fucking criminal case.
You can say that you shouldn't talk about a criminal case, 100% agree. But you can say that it's not true if it's not true. The problem is he can't say it's not true because then he's lying.
They'll tell you, they'll say it.
On record.
They'll say it on Twitter and stuff. They'll be like, oh, Nick shouldn't be talking. When I tell a joke about cops talking about my house, like, and label this clearly a joke. They're like, oh my God, Nick should.
Are these jokes in the room with us now? What, the moon's over my hammy or whatever it was? What the fuck? Show me some of these jokes.
Didn't say that. Ugh. And then they'll come out and they'll be like, Nick needs to apologize for everything he's accused of. And I'm like, accused of is the word here. Accused of. Let's let the government fucking prove anything first.
Or you could just say it's not true.
Let's let them prove anything. Because they haven't even had an opportunity to do so.
What the fuck was that smug smile? Let them prove anything. You filmed yourself doing this shit.
That's the best part.
Do you think April is in the room with him now?
One day, though.
I don't think so, but I saw the chair. Like the chair with the towel on it, and that's where the corner demon April would sit. Like there's only like you put a towel down on a chair when you got some stank ass or some shit. You put a towel down for a dog. Why? What do you got a chair with a towel over it? That's weird.
I get to tell you about all of this, but right now we have Constitution to worry about. My personal liberty is what I'm concerned with. The welfare and well-being of my family, despite the little memes about it, has always been and will always be my top priority. Anyone suggesting otherwise? Well, I don't want to violate YouTube's rules about encouraging self-harm.
You literally told the chat to jump off a stool and delete themselves earlier in the stream.
So won't comment.
Like you tell people on DMs, if you think that, like you told Yellow Flash, right? Like with the leaked DMs from the, I think it was like the Flashcast, or he's like, I think it was like a Flashcast thing. It was like he's telling him to delete Yellow Flash to delete himself because Yellow Flash was saying you're an addict, get some fucking help. And he's like, why don't you just fucking off yourself, you piece of shit, Yellow Flash?
Further on what you should do. There are 6 people in this world that have consistently mattered to me more than my own safety or anything else.
Oh, April didn't make the cut. That's so sad.
And that's my wife and my children.
Not April. Rip. She's just piece thrown to the side.
There's a short list of people who sit just below them, and then there's every other concern on the planet. But anyone suggesting otherwise, come talk to me about it.
Okay,
Not at
didn't
my
make
house,
the cut.
though.
Oh no!
Because if you come to my house, I'll treat you like a stalker.
Fucking savage. Fucking savage.
And I am dead fucking serious.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about it. That maybe the.
Here we go. Jim tells you, what's up, Jim? Welcome back. Please support Comicsgate creator Scott McCullough's new Mech Warrior campaign, Land and Sea Paradise.
I like Mech Warrior.
Nappy Soldier Neural Funk, drum and bass music producer, says this, your Las Vegas DJ, and still down for my boy to DJ the next one.
I'm not going to sit through an hour of super chats, but maybe like 10 minutes. I want to see if he reads any of the detractor chats.
Chin up, my broski. Much love. Hey, man, thank you. I'll hit you up on that.
That got
Darth
deleted.
Bender says, welcome back, Nick. Sees the day. Says, band trolls. Free chat of Toxic here for the Pope. Some people are like laughing that I have, or like, I don't even want to say laughing. Like, oh, he has Law Pope as a vanity plate? Yes. That was...
Everybody knew that he had Law Pope as a vanity plate when he showed his car on stream. People are laughing because you keep getting arrested for speeding tickets and talking to the cops, which is hypocritical because you said don't talk to the cops. In fact, I've got it right here. Look at this. Another one just came up. Another citation. This one's a funny one, though. This is a funny one. So let's see. Nick Rekieta. This was on. When was this? When was this one? When was this one? It's an interesting one. This was on May the 6th. So let's see. It was in his Law Pope, the Ford Mustang, red Ford Mustang. $80,000 car, I believe. Let's see. Officer's comments. Visibly fast. And originally he came up behind me near the, I guess the ramp or Route 171, traveling above speed limit, off at 171, and then got back on behind. Vehicle followed until MP 165 over those 6 miles. He was speeding, constant front, blah, 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 blah. Just stuff. The funny part here is though, he says, let's see. So when he was pulled over, when stopped, would not roll the window down. Further, when asked about his expired insurance, he said that displayed tabs had been stopped and warned for many of these violations before. He was visibly upset when given citations to the driver, said to me, "You are absolutely bullshit, lying fuck off." Drifted over fog, yellow line multiple times. And that's on the left side of the road. Like, wait, hold on. Did we drive in? No, it's on the right side of the road. It's not like the center line. It's like the line that's between the gutter, basically. So he just keeps getting pulled over for speeding. And it just gets funnier and funnier every time. Because he always says he don't talk to the cops, but he literally just talks to the cops. He says, "You're fucking lying. You're lying piece of shit. You're a bull." Doesn't want down the window. Again, it's just another example of hypocrisy. Rules for thee, but not for me. He said, when you get pulled over by the cops, say nothing. Just say no. No. Not, "You're lying. You're lying." What a fucking idiot.
It was a funny joke when I got it. And people are like, I don't know about that. It's like,
well, it was a joke. It wasn't funny.
People's memories are like fucking goldfish, and their ability to remember that life is still supposed to be fun.
You know what's fun? Growing up in a family where your parents look after you. That's fun. Having a childhood you can remember. That's fun. Being a kid is fun. You can become a good, like you can have a bad childhood and still become a great person. Absolutely. But I don't think anyone's arguing that it's a better for, except for Ethan Van Scover, but he's a fucking idiot. He's a retard.
Christopher, thanks for the donation. Joshua Smith Holly says, I love all the people in here mad about Nick enjoying what America has to offer. You all feel betrayed, but turn a blind eye to your taxpayer dollars, unaliving people in other countries. Again,
it's a weird chat.
Look,
that's like a kind of a Reddit. Actually,
I don't know what.
Actually, do you know the American government is killing people in other countries? You're complaining about Nick. Actually,
did to any particular person out there that's mad? I didn't do anything to you at all. I'm not even accused of doing anything to you. So go deal with whatever your anger management issues are, however you need to do them. Bad Luck Boy says Aaron is 0-2 at boxing. Ouch. I don't know anything about boxing records. He always claims to be 1-1 though. Something about like they changed the decision later because he was beat up, but he was beat up illegally or something. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Not sure
but that's what he always claimed. You guys have to check that out. I'm not here to comment about Aaron Imholt or anything that
this seems like an in joke. Like he's trying to diss Aaron and in such a way that I don't think the rest of us can understand. Unless someone has deepest lore into this weird comment, I don't know.
Has to say. He gets to say whatever he wants. I hope he makes $1 million. Rosemary J, welcome to Paralegal Status. Same with Brandon Lesko. A Spooky Ghost says, stop neglecting your stream. We're not your kids.
That's funny.
I don't neglect either of you. Angel Australia says, good to see you.
He does, though.
Back, Nick.
He neglects both of them, which is unfortunate.
Peace Homo. Corrections 101 says, looking and sounding great, Nikki. Keep it up. Thank you. Ugly Dan says, can you say yayo? I've been a fan since like 2021. Get it together, Nick. My karma went to shit on Reddit defending you. Let me address this real quick. This is actually...
Some guy actually sent a super chat in that said, I'm having difficulty defending you on Reddit. Please respond. Please help me, daddy. Holy shit. How down bad do you have to be to send money to somebody to ask for advice on how to defend you on Reddit? Wow. This is the brain trust we got over in the Baldo bunker in the last days of World War II. Holy shit.
Actually really fucking...
Daddy, no. Daddy No.
Some people have said to me like, hey,
so Daddy No was like a joke, I think, from the Tonkasaw days. And Nick used to read it on like super chats. And he did some pretty funny renditions of it too. But he decided one day to stop doing it because it was too close to home. And now look where we are. Kind of funny now, isn't it?
Hey, it's hard to defend you or this and this. Defending you. Stop. I never asked anybody to defend me.
This is good advice. Don't defend him on the internet.
This goes all the way back to the Vic days when people are like, Nick, I defended you online. And then people started coming after me. I'm like, please don't. Please don't. You guys have read the allegations against me, I assume. You don't need to defend me. Those allegations exist from the government. They've been made. People are not going to accept your defense of me, and they don't have to. Please don't defend me.
There you go.
Do you even see me defending myself? No, I'm defending myself in court.
It's indefensible, right?
Because again, the shocking number of people asking me to come online and defend my public image.
Nick literally said that Vic should go online and defend his public image during the Vic Mignogna case for defamation, saying that Vic was a sexual predator and groper and rapist, or well, I guess they didn't go that far, but I guess it was implied that he was taking some liberties with women in Funimation. Nick said, come out, control the narrative, defend yourself online. Just have your, like he said, just come out and say you're innocent for the fans. But when it's his turn, suddenly, you'd have to be stupid to defend him, right? Well, I can agree with that.
Must have missed the fucking bus. And it must be a short one, I guess, because you should know that my public image is just who I am. And you should know that there's no fucking way on earth.
But you sold yourself as somebody else. You lied or you changed. Which is it? Were you who you were in the past, or did that person ever exist? We don't know. You sold a narrative. Like you can say you don't like it anymore because your fans were boring. They weren't cool like Dick Masterson's fans. They weren't party guys, right? They were honest people that wanted to have families, that wanted to live traditionally. They wanted to have, conservative lifestyles, but you weren't happy with that. You got angry at your fan base because you represented yourself as them so that you could take their money. But suddenly you had the money. And then all of a sudden, you know what? I'd rather be that party guy. I'd rather be on the other team. And then you come out and say, well, you never should defend me. I never was this. Yes, of course you did. Of course you did.
I'm going to capitulate to a government accusation. The government has a burden. They have to meet it. Until they meet it, fuck it. Meet your burden. Then we'll talk. If they do, then we'll deal with that.
Okay, so if after the case, you're going to come clean about everything?
But right now, they haven't even had to try. So until that's done, I'm not going to sit here and capitulate to anything. But the converse is, that means I don't get to defend myself.
You always had money? Well, see, this goes back to my theory. This goes back to my theory that the trust fund is only for like base living expenses. So like, housing, food, transportation. So that's the only way that I can understand that he would pay off a mortgage of a house, raise 5 kids, and go to law school, all while not working. People struggle their entire lives just to feed the kids. And somehow Nick was able to find a way to pay off his mortgage on 2 houses before he was 40 with 5 kids and going to law school. while not working for several years. So yeah, I'm not sure if he had always money, but I definitely think at least that was paid for. And again, I think the paintings or like a charitable donation of like something in the excess of like, you know, $50,000 to $100,000 a year on charity / fundraisers, I think is probably inside the trust fund. But again, that's like my own theory craft. I have nothing to back that up.
Okay. You shouldn't either. Don't put yourself out there on my behalf. I've never asked anybody to do that. I wouldn't ask you to do that. So I know your karma score on Reddit isn't important. Well, maybe it is really important. But seriously, when you get involved with some of this stuff, with some of the people who are out there, especially some of the people who are out there commenting about me, you open yourself up to personal inspection, ridicule, and possibly more. Don't.
Yeah, this is actually like Nick is actually speaking a little bit of wisdom here, which is hard to believe. But yeah, you shouldn't wrap your personality up in who you follow online. Like a lot of people do this. They find a creator online that they like, and it's easier to just adopt their opinions and say that they're yours, and that becomes your entire identity. And when that identity crumbles in these sort of situations, your identity crumbles, and you start having these like crises of, well, I can't defend you online anymore. What should I say, Father? I mean, a lot of people do it, but it's just celebrity worship on the internet, like the modern day, really. But people just like they choose someone like Taylor Swift, and then they're like that's their thing, and they have to defend it as if they are them. Speaking of Taylor Swift, I got a bit of a meme for you, actually. Thought I might just share this one. If you believe in reincarnation, just saying, Emperor Hirohito died in the year 1989. Born in 1989, Taylor Swift. Coincidence? Welcome back, Emperor Hirohito. Actually, I don't even know if Taylor Swift was born then, but I hope so, because then she's older than me, but only slightly.
Do that. It's not your cross to bear. I don't want your help defending
So
me
the results
in that way.
are in that Ron Toye is a better father than Nick Rekieta. Holy shit. Nick received only 11% of the votes out of 300 people. Holy shit. It's like 37 people voted for Nick being a good father. Like 60 people. 60 people? About 60, 70 people voted for Ron Toye. Embarrassing. How embarrassing.
At all. If there's something that I need help with, it'll be something
Ron
that
did
I'm looking
win. In the end,
for
he
to
did
be
win.
given to my
That's
lawyer
what's
to
how-
use in court.
That's crazy.
And I would ask that very specifically. I'm not asking for anything like that right now. Because right now, it's all on government to prove anything. Right now, I stand accused. Until a different outcome occurs, I do not stand convicted. And I hope to never stand convicted of anything. Well, except for maybe a few thousand speeding tickets. Joseph Fazio says, Return of the King of Late Night. Lady Law Sandra says, we love you. Sandra, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Quiet Rider says, this is a great way to get back to practicing law, right, Raggeds? God, no. Lady Law Sandra says, you made LawTube. The worst thing. Don't put that on my tombstone, please. Wick Dipper says, kicking Cherokee to the curb really started a shitstorm. That it did. Seedfan85 says, I see the fascist haircut has returned. Is there a story behind it this time? Look, it's summer. In summer, I have my dude bring it down way, way low because I have a heat allergy.
He's just allergic to working. That's the real reality. That's why it's taken him a week to put down one painting. Or to take down one painting and put one up. I guess it's 2 weeks, right? It's 1 week per painting. It's great.
Something I've openly talked about forever. I have a heat allergy. I get hives when I get warm. I scratch them. Sometimes they bleed.
So what he's saying here is that when he was arrested for the drug conviction, there was a report that he had marks on his arms that were consistent with track marks from injectables, like, I don't know, heroin or something. Who can say? I don't believe that there was any injecting being done in the house, because I think they would have found needles if that was the case. But what he's doing here is he is putting aspersions onto the documents. Like, if it's wrong in one thing, it can be wrong in everything, right? No. But he's attacking the weakest claim. The weakest claim is that he's injecting something. He just has to prove that he's not. And then he's like, well, if they lied about the injectables, what else did they lie about, right? No, it could be mosquitoes. It could be scratches. He probably was scratching his arm. I don't think he was injecting. That's just my opinion. But we saw him do the nose candy live on stream. Starting to think that allergy was always a lie. I mean, I've never heard of a heat allergy being real. It's pretty outrageous when you think about it. But I don't know. Surely it's got to be something, right? It's probably like an allergy to sweat or something. I don't know.
Corrections 101 says, praying for you and your family, Nikki. Thank you. Stay strong, brother. You look and sound great. Appreciate that. Anime sucks. Cope and Sneed says, hey, Nick. So I wasn't kidding when I asked if you could show this on stream and critique it. Files.catbox.mo. No.
Let's see. So that's hey, you said anime sucks. Cope and Sneed. He said the magic word. But Suzanne says, look at how many LawTube lawyers are swooning to be next hero. It's sickening with Kurt. I think Kurt was Kurt didn't want it to be true. Kurt's a little bit autistic. So when he was defending Nick, he was saying like, well, I don't care about the kids because, he doesn't care about someone he doesn't know. He only cares about Nick because he's only met Nick. It's a dumb thing to say, but it makes sense in his autistic mindset. But then when the facts of the matter came out, I think Kurt kind of changed, right? Like Kurt changed his tune and he was like saying like, this is indefensible. If these are true, this is outrageous. But I mean, all the lawyers are definitely going to say like innocent until proven guilty, sure. But there's the legal system, innocent until proven guilty. Then there's the court of public opinion. And that's more of what I'm working on here. I'm not actually as concerned with the legality so much as the morality.
Sorry, I'm not doing anything like that today. Mario Carter 13. I don't know what you said. Ugly Dance, because it was moderated out.
Yeah, Kurt's a weirdo, but I kind of like him.
A community.
Kurt's very smart. He's definitely very weird though, and he has some very bad clips out there. But I think if you ask him like his opinions on the actual legal matters, he's pretty concise, pretty good. Just don't ask him about how to make a Sunday lunch or anything. Don't ask him how to roast make some cheese on toast or like what is it? What is it called? Beef Wellington. Don't ask him his opinion on that. But when it comes to like patent law or something, he's a pretty sharp guy.
You're not funny anymore. Cool. Good. I didn't claim to be funny.
Then why did you do a stand-up routine? Just torture people?
I mean, except to me. I laugh at my jokes, but sometimes I laugh at things that aren't funny. Seize the day, sent a bunch of hearts. Beautifully said. FM. IDK anymore says, at least PPP doesn't have kids with Coke on them. If PPP has kids, he's probably about to eat them. Four Loop Media says, why aren't you grifting off your big return? I don't know what you want me to do to grift off.
He did grift off. He said government was bad and he made $1,500. What are you talking about? He is grifting off it.
But I think I'm going to do okay. I do my thing. There's often not enough planning. You Got Felted says, here's to your legal fund. Hoping you get the full 25 years, you piece of shit. Casino always wins. Well, I got news for you. If you read the sentencing guidelines, it's very unlikely. Ty Beard says, you, sir, are a steel-eyed missile man. I'm proud to call you my friend. Hey, thanks, Ty. How you doing, buddy? Eric from Wisconsin says, love you, bro. Focus on you and yours. Forget everyone else. All that matters is family and defeating government. Love from Wisconsin. Thank you. Bernie Garcon, message was deleted. I'm not sure.
All that matters is family and defeating government. I mean, yeah, if the government's doing something wrong, but what if they're actually saving people?
Again, I don't know what it was, but if you sent some message that involved personal information, I don't care wherever it is on the internet. If it's information about my kids or something like that, and I don't know what this one was, it's not going to hang around. Inquisitor Media.
I mean, it's still like, even after all that I've seen, it's so hard to believe. I have to try and rationalize this in my mind by saying that it must have been a mistake by the cops, like taking the hair samples and putting them in the wrong bag. Because surely to get that level, it would have to be Kayla or April's hair, right? But then why should I give them the benefit of the doubt? This is what the documents say. This is what the tests say. Like, prove. Like, this isn't hard to disprove. The kids aren't bald now. You can do the test again. That's the problem here. Like, so again, the hair test, which came up, if you're just joining us or if you came in late, basically what happens is that this document came out and it says that one of the children, the 9-year-old, tested positive for cocaine use at a level of 5,000. The cutoff was 500. What that means is that they had a level of cocaine in their system at some point in the last 9 months that is over recreational use and is more consistent with weekend or daily use of cocaine in the 2,000 to 10,000, I guess, parts range. Now, again, I thought this might be like, maybe there was some cocaine on the table and the kid laid down their head, or it was on the couch or something and they laid down their head and then the sample was in their hair follicles and that's how it got in there. That's how I was kind of rationalizing in my mind. But apparently they do 2 tests. So first they test for physical cocaine on the hair, and then they test for the changes in, I guess, enzymes in the hair that is detectable for up to 90 days. So that means that sometimes in the last 90 days, this child was exposed to 5,000 parts of cocaine in their system. This could have been a one-off event. It could have been multiple events. We don't know. Again, it could be that the samples were mixed up. But then the thing is, the child still has the head of hair. That all they need to do to disprove this document is to retest the child. So why didn't, if that is the case, and surely they would have contested this decision, they would have tested the child again for Nick's case, right? Like, why don't we say, like, this document is a sensitive document that was released. It is fake because it was retested and it was proven to be false. It's that easy to test. Unless they just cut off all the child's hair, which I don't think is the case. It's actually insane. Just do the test again if you think that they're lying. And if they're not lying, then why is 5,000 parts consistent with medium use, daily or weekends? That's like once a week, or 2 times a week, whatever. Just do the test again. It should be super easy to disprove. And maybe it will be disproved. I hope it is. I honestly do hope it is. I don't want to believe this. The reality of believing this is horrifying, because I used to watch this show and think that this was a good man.
It says favorite brand of SpaghettiOs. There's only one brand. SpaghettiOs is a brand. It's a brand. Cody the Bum says, F yeah, Nick. McNasty says, want to ask you, Nick, about this current thing where a lot of old heads are getting bashed for misstep. Not just you, but Masterson, Medicare, etc. Is this just a cycle of the internet to jump on the fallen of some other BS? It's just the nature of the business. You talk about people, you're going to get talked about. You're going to make somebody mad, and then they're going to do something to you.
Well, people don't talk about you if you don't make yourself the content, though. Like, that's the thing. He became the content. He used to talk about content. Now he is the content.
Like, sometimes things happen and people get a wrong idea in their heads, and they feel justified in trying to cause you and the people that you love serious amounts of pain. That's not most people on the internet. Most people on the internet just laugh at the ongoing dumpster fire that is all over and circling around them. But there are some sad, pathetic people who can't.
Dumpster fire in this part of Minnesota at this time of year, localized entirely within the Rekieta household. Yes. May I see the body cam footage? No. That actually slides on very nicely into the Steam hams when you think about it.
Realize their own inadequacy. And when that inadequacy manifests and their life suffers consequences because their inability to be introspective, their unwillingness to self-examine or accept criticism or even self-critique, they rewrite their own history. They make up stories. They come up with a timeline and a set of facts that doesn't exist.
I'm glad that some people like my
justify their own failures. No matter how many times those failures were pointed out to them in friendly ways, they just can't do it. Someone else did it to them, because it certainly couldn't be their own fault.
Yeah, like the government did this to you. It couldn't be your own fault, Nick. It had to be the government that did this to you. Oh my goodness. That's true. It's all true. It couldn't be my fault. It must have been the bad old government planting the drugs, not feeding my kids, not changing their clothes. That rat government. Get out, government.
And those are the people who foist themselves up as some sort of paragon. Well,
you don't have to be a paragon. Just don't fucking swing around your children and don't do drugs around your kids. If you're too fucked up to turn off a live stream, you're too fucked up to feed your kids.
Openly trying to damage and destroy lives of innocents.
What? That's what you're doing.
And those people will probably have to deal with the consequences of their actions at some point. But I don't know.
Is he fucking projecting? Somebody's going to have to deal with the action. Somebody's going to have to deal with their actions someday. Then they're just like cut this into a prison door, like slamming shut. It's like, well, they got me.
I'm not God. I just think I am.
I don't know if this is true. Like, I heard this offhand, but apparently in the group chat that Nick had, they gave themselves like little names. And I think like Nick's nickname was like Chaos or something. So he's leaning into like the 40K. I'm not a god. I'm just Chaos, the Destroyer. the bringer of tomfoolery. Some wild shit going on in those group chats. Unfortunately, we'll never see because it was on Telegram, or was it Signal or some shit? I don't know.
Let's see. Smoking says, I'm an addict. Once an addict, always an addict. Love you, brother. Believe in you. Fuck government. I'm sorry to hear that for you,
Agent of
man.
Chaos? Was it Agent of Chaos?
Look.
Oh, wow. So edgy.
I've seen people deal with addiction. It's really fucking nasty.
Yeah, when he looks in the mirror in the bathroom in the morning.
Really fucking nasty. And I commend you on your journey. IDK anymore. Sorry, I don't know what you said. Pendar, welcome to Paralegal. William Trainer, sorry, I don't know what you said. Doc Nick says, good luck with things, Nick. Looking good. Thank you. Jeff Bruno says, the worst part is the hypocrisy. It's a good Norm Macdonald joke. Very much.
That is a good Norm Macdonald joke.
Well, actually, I thought the worst part was the rape. Matthew Self says, not
but it's a bit too real. It's a bit too real.
But I hate what you were saying, but are you reading from the screen? No. No, I could show you here. You want to see what I look at, guys? Here's what I look at.
Oh, no, don't do it.
This
Nick.
is the screen that I'm looking at.
Don't give them more information.
90% of the time, this is what I see.
Oh, okay. This is kind of interesting. Let's have a look. See if we can see anything interesting in here. Hey, look, he's got the same street. He's got the same. I guess Ryan, the editor, there is in the. That must be Ryan, the editor, in the Streamlab. There you go. Oh, look at that. See, this is any. He's got like a bunch of tabs or some shit. Nah, looks like he uses Chrome. I mean, wait, what the fuck? He uses Microsoft Edge. Wow, just send it. Guilty. Guilty is charged. I'm not using Firefox or Brave.
I usually have locals up, but right now it's not on this window. So if you want to see what I'm looking at, I'm not reading from the screen. I'm watching all the shit going on. I'm trying to read chats at various points. But that's that. Stinky Stink says, please keep streaming. Turkey Tom needs footage. Yeah, again, I don't think I've met Turkey Tom. I know he's met Dick Masterson or something. And cheers, I guess. Christine Hansopoulos says, I care about you and Kayla and wish you the best. Hey, thank you, Christine. Very much appreciate that. BTM Reviews, a huge super chat. Really appreciate it. It says, your friends are some of the worst people I used to think were smarter than me. Guess I was wrong because I never determined your guilt until I hear all sides of the court. Love you and Lady Rackets since Nashville. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Chartard says, is April still giving that Hoover Deluxe treatment? That month is long gone. I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
He's talking about BJs. You know what you're talking about. Come on now.
Schwamp Donkey, message deleted. Johnny Rocket says, potentially criminal tested positive for jelly donuts and cum. What? That was rude.
I like how he like really thinks this is like a big fucking burn. Like he's like, whoa, like you see this a lot when someone makes fun of someone that Nick doesn't like, he's like, oh shit, like it's a big deal. Like you're gonna say like, oh, Sean likes jelly donuts. Okay, he didn't fucking give kids cocaine. You feel like that's an own? Oh no, Sean, he's tubby. Wow, he's the first guy that will tell you that. Big fucking, oh wow, got him. Then he's just like, all Sean has to do is like show up this document. You abuse your fucking children by neglect and cocaine. Wow. Got him. Wow. Rekieta W, I guess. Shit.
That was not very uncouth of you. Buckmaster says if
the fake laugh is kind of a grating as well. He's like, ha ha ha, that's so funny.
Harambe was here, he would be disappointed. Well, he's not. He's dead. Dark Luce G. Whatever the truth of your case, you're correct that we should remember to be wary of government motives, regardless of the case. Often we don't. Chininator.
You should be critical of the government. The problem is you should be more critical. You should be more critical of deadbeat dads.
Personally, I like your trial streams more than these late night streams. Well, that was part of the announcement, but that'll have to wait a little bit because I'm a bit incensed tonight. Pendar says innocent until proven guilty. Pandrew. Charlie Shee says been there with the law, not fun. I sympathize with your.
I haven't heard that one. Pandrew, that's a little bit funny, actually. Andrew's a good guy. I don't believe any of those allegations, but it's kind of, I like what are they, portmanteaus? Kind of cute. They kind of tickle my funny bone.
Plight in life, best wishes, Nick. Thank you. Smoking says I believe.
It's not going to be as good as the
Angel
Ralph
Australia says respect, Nick. Wishing all the best for you and your family. Fook the retards. Let them tard alone. May you tard in solitude. Caesar Day says love the studio. Yeah, Depp is prominent. Freedom. Matt says my options aside, I hope you the best, Nick. Hey, thank you. MLS got a loss is wishing all the best for you and your family. Thank you, MLS. Solid number 5 says.
All right, that is funny though. Barely legal mindset. It's kind of funny. But it's not going to top Ralph. Legal mindset. Legal mindset. It's the best one. I got to send that. I'm sure Andrew's seen it, but I got to send it to him. Or next time he comes on, I'm going to show it to him.
Nick, for the love of God.
Andrew is streaming in about 50 minutes, by the way. I'll probably stream right into him, but probably not going to wait the next 50 minutes. I'm almost done with this. I'm just kind of curious what some of these chats are.
I'd use your Fifth Amendment right. Like you said, everything about the case would be said through counsel. Yeah. I have very, very vehemently used my Fifth Amendment right. Quite often. Over and over. Again, I hope to tell you the story someday when we get all this shit cleared up. How's that?
He doesn't hope to tell the story ever. No matter what happens on this case, win or lose, he's just never going to talk about it. Unless he gets some sort of absolute crazy slam dunk win on the technicalities, he can say, well, look, I was acquitted. That means I'm innocent. No. Go pull up Bossman. He's super correct. Not tonight. I thought Bossman lost his sponsorship on stake. Maybe a check him out on Friday.
Mr. Bowser 2012 says, praying for you and the family, Nick. God bless. Chugi Show Live says, weird that none of your fellow lawyers
I should show this actually. Hold on. I'll show you something.
Follow on YouTube are saying the things you're accusing them of. The Spooky Ghost says, hello.
So last week, I didn't want to show this on this stream because I thought it might make Nick too excited. But I got this. I got from the Friday stream. We found this incredibly funny Japanese way with these two black guys, which may or may, I don't know, you could maybe be racist, who can say. Pretty good protein, actually. And you can see the guy down here. I guess it's reversed, but it's saying not a bra because I'm going to show that we're going to drink this with vodka on Friday stream. I believe it was John Byrne that paid for that one, actually. He sent it through. So there you go. Another promise that I have delivered on. I promised I would get it. And we did. There you go. Same day delivery. Well, actually, it was like the day after. But
citizen, it's me, your good friend, the government. I don't appreciate these hurtful things you say about me.
Nova says that Farron wasn't lying when she said Nick was trying to get him into a sex cult. I remember those. I remember that. And I remember coping saying that like Nick was probably just drunk and probably just telling tall tales. There's no way he's actually going to try and swing with Farron. But I was wrong. And in retrospect, it all makes perfect sense.
Octus says all of this over comics. Always. Hey, Ethan Van Sciver. Holy shit. Hold on. I got to get back to it. I see Ethan there. Where the fuck did he go?
It's not made of bugs. It's made of whey. It's milk.
Sorry, the chat thing jumped down.
Made from cows.
Ethan Van Sciver says, Nick, the Denny's joke. Is it that the cop ordered a pork-based product?
Oh my!
The cops are called pigs, and that's cannibalism. Is that the joke? Thanks, pal.
Have you guys seen how fat EVS actually is? There's this picture of him from the profile picture where he's sitting at this desk. He's a fat boy. He's a chunky boy. Like he looks like one of those really like it's kind of ironic, I guess, because of the cyber toad or cyber frog or whatever. But he actually looks like one of those round frogs. Hold on, they're so cute though. Round toads. He like his body type is actually like this, which is kind of adorable. It kind of makes him look a little bit more likable. I think I have a picture of himself. I mean, someone posted it a while ago, but like he's a thick boy. Let's see if I can find that for a second. Hold on. See if I can find. Okay. Let me see. I'll just have a quick look, see if I can find this. I'm not going to devote too much time to it. Well, if someone has the pitch, if someone in the picture knows what I'm talking about, we'll compare him to this frog. But he's like the exact same dimensions.
Ethan, I think I made a couple different ones. All of them are like Ulysses by James Joyce.
Oh my!
You can hear the jokes over and over, and you'll never understand them. But you can analyze them forever. Geeky Candy says, looking forward to when we see you interrupted by one of those littles again midstream. Those moments were hectic at times, but that was when we witnessed your humanity, and despite entertaining thousands online, you cared for them. Never stopped. Not for a second.
Except
Ugly
when
Dan
the
says,
state
block,
took them away
reset, don't
because of your
answer.
actions.
This is not Nick. Laser Pants says, put the glass down, put the pie in your mouth. Sweet tea.
Oh, I found it. There we go. Hold on.
I'm sure someone will say it contains.
Right, we'll compare. Isn't this the same body type? It's the same energy. Don't you guys think? Like you always see EVS from the front. It's like a classic like MySpace fat angles. But look at this. This is a chunky boy. This frog's like he's round, but he's got the little legs, the little arms. You see, like it's the same. He's got like EVS. He's got these little arms. Look at this. It's like I'm looking at. It's like the same picture. The frog is cute. True. They're both. Look at that. The little arms. The perfectly rounded body. Like, how do you even manage that? That's kind of crazy. The real MVP is this chair, though. Holy shit. Anyway. What is this? The Real Hydro PX. With $5, says Montegraph was never charged with any crime, but Nick had no problem spreading lies. When it came to Nick, we should hold judgment. The question you got to ask yourself is, what's Montegraph's next play? Is he going to go easy on Nick because he's in these troubles, or is he going to squeeze him? Is he going to draw out the case and extract every dollar out of Nick? Because he could. Like, Nick does not have the time to deal with Montegraph anymore. Like, it was all fun and games, right? $200,000 of fun and games down the toilet because a small country lawyer is destroying allegedly the best First Amendment. What is it? First Amendment? No, not First Amendment. Whatever. It was the best defamation lawyer in the, what is it, Rendaza or something? I don't know. Nick should just settle with Monty straight up. He should just say, look, he's like, look, things have changed. I'll settle. I'll retract my statements. I just think you get out of this thing. Like, he just cannot deal. He doesn't have the time or the effort or the resources available anymore. He's so busy too. So
means probably fentanyl. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just drinking fentanyl. Oh no, I'm George Floyd.
That's the worst thing about Nick being such a retard these days, is he's killed racism for me. Like, it used to be fun to be racist, and now it's just cringe because of Nick Rekieta. That's the real crime here.
Derek, I need a knee. Guess I'll live through the fentanyl then. James Stewart says unbreaded Nick arc is yet to come. Phil the Stampede says, how funny was it that you and DSP did the same thing? Man, I wish I would have jerked off on stream. That would have been way funnier
Nick
than what I was doing.
drinking for me.
Stream Hero 77 says, let's see the body cam footage before we believe you. You may get to. I don't know. YHVH Lord says, forget government. What about obeying God and his righteousness judgment in order to avoid eternal hellfire? Government is nothing. Jesus is everything. There you have it,
Christ
folks.
is king.
Don't worry about government. Make sure you're not going to have eternal hellfire. Government's nothing. Jesus is everything. Ignore the fact that Jesus said you don't have to worry about eternal hellfire because I kind of came around.
Another one of broken promises is Nick is supposed to start a religious podcast about how he interprets the Bible. Looking forward to that one.
I mean, you guys killed me, but I forgive you or whatever. Like, ignore that. Just go with this new weird Americanized, like not Americanized, but modern Americanized Christianity where like Jesus doesn't matter. This one that everyone wants you to believe now. It's really fucking strange, guys. I don't know what the hell people are talking about. Matt Skinner says, do you sell your art? That's not my art. No, I'm not talented at all. I sell.
No, he means selling your pieces because you need the money.
My art to you like this. This is my art, so it's very inexpensive. Although I did get some painting stuff because I'm going to try doing some painting sometime soon. And then maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. Ricky Ray Rosenberg Esquire. Message was deleted.
You have to actually repent to be
Dark Luce G says, either way this goes, write a book and grift. Maybe
another promise that hasn't been delivered yet. He's going to write a book on how to stream. Looking forward to chapter 11. Not when he files for bankruptcy, but like when he has to talk about dealing with the controversy.
It's a good story, man. It's a really good story. And other people really want me to tell it. Lost Zephyr, message deleted. Last of Yahoos says, oi there, chief.
The message deleted by his moderators, though. That's the thing.
I've been missing my work night content. Now entertain me. Welcome back. Thank you. Fugabugub. Fugabugub. I don't know. Tough situation, but wishing you and yours the best. Stick to it, man. Stick it to the man and keep your chin up. Thank you. I will try. Grifty says, hey, brother, the timing of that leak is sus as fuck. Either way, check DM. Sent you something that may be helpful when I saw it. Thank you, Grifty. VentureCast.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some real some good pro bono legal work there. Check DMs. There's going to be some Grifty's on the case. He's solved it, guys. Don't worry about it. I bet it's some sovereign citizen shit, like saying that like Nick's house is actually a boat and it's under maritime law. I guarantee it. It's some shit like that.
Says, to hell with Canadians that wear glasses and doughy Minnesotans with morning podcasts. J-Bomb is gaping.
Did Mick break his unbreaded promise as well? Like, he was going to do the entire thing, right? Like I stopped watching the show for a long time ago because it just lost entertaining for me. But the Unbraided was, at first I didn't like it, but I kind of warmed up to it. I think seeing it every day is probably too much. But didn't he promise he was going to keep doing that? But again, another broken promise. I don't know.
God bless my Pope. God bless every Pope.
Are we stopped? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yes. Carbonite says, could we get a better look of the Joker painting? Not today, but soon. Absolutely. Ugly Dan says, you're lying. You defended yourself and your mistresses in DMs. My mistresses? Oh, man. Guys, every day I find out how much cooler I am.
See, again, this is like a sneaky little legal thing because he has one mistress. It's like, mistresses? I don't have mistresses. You have a mistress? Well, yeah, I've got one mistress, but I don't have mistresses. It's just one. Yeah, you owned the chat. He does that a lot. You notice that a lot.
It's amazing. Turbo Bastard.
Also, it's not really that cool to have mistresses. It's cringe because you were caught in a throuple being a cuckold. So I guess it's not as cool as it sounds, right?
Deleted message. Rob Price is glad to see you back. Fuck all the haters and tards who have no clue that the justice system is innocent until proven guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Koof says, welcome back. Thank you for not killing yourself. Thank you, Koof. It was touch and go there for a minute, but I made it out. I had to get around myself for a few. Dodongo Manoof says, you're a lolcow. I'm not just a lolcow. I'm the best lolcow of 2023. You pay your proper respects, you fucking baby. What are you, some kind of Hindu weirdo?
And runner-up for 2024 is, I mean, well, not runner-up, but in the running, leading the pack for 2024 at this rate. I didn't think it could keep getting crazy, but it just does.
Respect my lolcowity. Guys, when you're accused by the government of a felony and they threaten to put you in prison for a really long time.
I want to address anything related to the polycule, even though it has nothing to do with the case. I guess you can make the argument that like he couldn't provide a safe environment for a family if he's in a polycule because he's been inviting these weird people around, or it's not a stable home environment. I assume that would be the argument there. But he could easily deny it if it wasn't true.
You realize just how little some of these things actually fucking mean at all. You're a lolcow. Okay, cool, great. I'm gonna just keep doing my show over here. I'll just do that then. Bro Fister, message deleted. Andrea Murray says, I found you 2020 to 2022, 11 years clean for me recently. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing exceedingly well. Sleepless in, well, under the circumstances. Because believe me, there are other options for what you want to do under these circumstances. And
you might just listen to one or two more. This is kind of grading on.
Those options are not doing well. They involve like buildings and falling off of them. Sleepless in Minnesota says, Nick stumbled across a sweet video of you and Lady Raggers from 4 years ago, hoping you can return your family to those happier times. Hey, I'm always looking to have my family in happy times. Carrie says, Nick, there's some people here who actually give a fuck about you. Oh, I know. You and your family and our rights. Wishing you all the best, my guy. Much love. Yes. And to you people who do care about all those things, yeah, keep doing so. That's what we need. We need people who remember that stuff. Red Fox Mad says, Nick, you should join the Knights of Columbus. Why? There's a joke in there I'm missing. Joe Moses, welcome to Paralegal. Thank you. Comicsgate Live, message deleted. Card Shark message deleted. Bad Luck Boy says, Johnny Crutches owes Mersha, thank you for his raise. Did he actually get it? I don't know. LL Cool Lee message deleted. Laser Beam Hawkins says, hail brother, as you once reminded me, the Emperor protects. Prayers for your family and you. Glad to see you again. Hey, thank you, brother.
But he literally works for Chaos. He's an actual agent of Slanesh. Don't fall for it.
He does. Triton 54 says, best wishes to you and your family. We all assume things must be pretty bad when Jack Murphy was quoted as saying, damn, I feel embarrassed for Nick.
Now that's funny. I don't think we're going to get a better super chat than that.
Oh, man, I'd put that as my ringtone. That'd be good. Cheers, bro. Fuck the police. He has that high-pitched voice. Popular with the college boys. Bronson Ashton says, it's great to have you back, Nick. I hope your family is whole soon. Thank you. Chili Cheese J. Thanks for the chat. Elf says, keep the faith and strength, Nick. I've been watching you since Rittenhouse. Ignore all the losers. Well, mostly. Koof says, free Riley, release my clipper. Yeah, Riley's got some fun stuff going on too. It's always good. Hopefully he'll have a nice run-in with the law.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even thought about how this is all Eric July's fault, right?
That turns out for him.
I think that's another thing. Is like the Jack Murphy. He spent weeks criticizing Jack Murphy for being a cuckold, and now he's the cuckold.
Jose Garza says, fight with might till the end. J, message deleted. And B says, you're facing 100 years less than Turtle Boy. So there's that. Damn, he's facing 120 years or 125 or whatever. Watchtower says, can't stick around for the stream, but want to drop in and show support. Praying for you and yours. Fight the fight. Thanks, man.
Look at the chat replay.
Tug,
then we're gonna end this
just
out.
woke up.
Pull this out.
Just woke up. What's going on? Oh, nothing, Tug. Just chatting with people here on the YouTube. Clay Early says, being allergic to temperature is the gayest thing you've ever done. Welcome back, Shanaz. Dude, it sucks. It sucks bad.
Slurp.
It fucking...
Straws are a very effeminate thing. I'll say that. Very, very effeminate. All right. I think that's all I think that's all the super chats I can take for now. So before we end out the stream, though, if you want to get an actual lawyer's take on this, it seems that in merely 35 minutes, in just 35 minutes, Legal Mindset, the disastrous return of Rekietalaw live. So it looks like, I'm not sure if Andrew's going to go over the legal case or if he's just going to go over how much of an asshole that Nick has made of himself. But that seems like a pretty good place to go after this one. Be sure to like the stream on your way out and then say hi in Andrew's chat for me. It is past my bedtime as it is. But I will send you over there. Regal Mindset. Yes, exactly. I'll redirect you over. Let me just set this up. Thanks for coming for this stream. We will be continuing to cover this case as pertinent information comes out. I'm not going to talk about this every day like Camelot or Tug, but as details come out, new information, body cam footage, documents, those sort of things, I will be doing additional streams on this. Go say hi to Andrew and have a great night and look after your family because apparently Rekieta can't. And what else is there to say? Peace.